Oh my god, we just watched the Sonic movie. What did you... Okay, I'm Chris.
Lily.
Liam.
Forrest.
And we are all Zoomers. So we're perfectly fit to review literally everything, as our opinion is law. So, we just watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. What did y'all think?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Meh.
I gotta side with Forrest on this one. I thought it was mediocre. But okay. First of all, I want to say, can we talk about the actual like design, because I was surprised at how much I liked Sonic's visual design.
Yes, they improved it a lot, and like he was very visually appeasing on the screen.
I want Liam. We should start a petition for like getting the old design.
Yeah.
Its own.
They gotta re-release the old. So they announced that they had completed the entire movie and they had to redo the entire thing. If they release the original cut and then put that in theaters, I would go watch that.
Or put it on when they release like the DVD.
Yeah,
release that with it, because they had Tails in the end.
Yeah.
What did he look like before?
I want to see cursed Tails.
Like as a bonus feature you're talking about?
Yes.
Like as a whole movie.
great.
This is gonna have tons of spoilers, by the way.
That means like did they have to recut all the scenes of the guy like holding Sonic?
No, I'm sure they didn't.
I mean, his basic body proportions look pretty similar to what
they
originally.
really just
really
changed
only
his
face.
face.
Yeah.
The meow scene was much better.
Yeah.
Instead of just like the meow. Like
it
looked better.
Not a surprise at all, but like all of the best jokes were the ones that they put in the trailer, and it just made me laugh at them less. This movie, I guess my biggest complaint that I was because this movie is a comedy first and foremost, like anything, like I like it's fine for anything to happen as long as it justifies a really funny joke, but I didn't think that many jokes were that when Sonic woke up from being knocked out and he goes, "Is The Rock president?" That was the funniest joke in it. He goes, "Where am I? Who are you? Is The Rock president?"
What year is it?
Yeah, what year is it? That was the funniest joke in the movie, in my opinion. Though there was one unintended joke when they went to Egypt, when Sonic was doing the chase scene, and they like went through Egypt, and they were flying, and I was like, oh, so they're gonna knock over the nose to the Sphinx, like, because every movie that ever goes to Egypt does that. They're like, hey, this is how the Sphinx lost his nose, and I was like, ha ha ha, hilarious. I like totally expected it. No, Eggman just blew the Sphinx up. He literally just blew up the Sphinx.
And he goes, like, no, you're not alone there. That's a seventh wonder of the world. And it's like, you already blew up the Sphinx.
Sonic's like running up the pyramid, and Eggman's like, you're not allowed to do that. This is one of the seven wonders of the world. He just blew up the Sphinx.
Well, then
what the fuck?
The pyramid.
Okay. The whole joke about the
that was an unintended joke.
At the
but I thought it was
beginning of the
hilarious.
movie, like Eggman was like talking about Robotnik was talking about the Charlotte's Web. And he's like, this is like my eggs. Like,
oh my god.
So
my egg sacks.
Yeah. Oh my god. That was like, because later in the movie, Sonic's like, oh, these are your eggs, Eggman. It's just like all so I was like, so was Eggman just randomly calling these robots like his like coming out of his egg sack, like that whole like. Oh, God. Weird. That was all a setup for Sonic to call him Eggman. Like,
they
I can't tell.
They got the full picture in there.
I said this to you, but I can't tell if that's insanely retarded or literally the most genius thing I've ever heard.
What's genius?
Probably both.
That is big brain.
Exactly.
Oh my god. It's
like, I did not like how they had the two flossing scenes.
Yeah. That kind of showed how it was made for
Sonic
kids.
Flossing. Oh my god,
once,
every time.
Fine, whatever. Twice?
I feel like that's going to be turned into like a Twitter GIF.
I can't believe it.
I
can't believe it. They made Sonic floss. Oh my god.
To be fair, when they were really making this movie and like all the motions, flossing was popular.
Yeah.
So in their defense,
oh my god,
it was popular. And in their when they were going to release it, it was still kind of popular.
Yeah.
So like it's not them it's just we kind of moved on from that.
That is what made the
Sonic
movie
didn't
weird.
move on, but we moved on.
Sonic
As a society, we rejected
we
it.
moved on, but Sonic did not.
Sonic stayed loyal.
And then there was like two fart
To the
jokes.
horrible
Like
trend.
you gotta get the really bad stuff out of the way, and I'm
yeah.
glad they did that really early.
They really
I
didn't
feel
do much
like
other
okay.
like low
So
humor jokes.
here's the thing: is that I feel like this movie would have been way better if it was aimed at an adult audience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the jokes. It's like wordplay, you know? It's like what's a funny situation we can get these characters into and then like have them make jokes at each other, just like be snarky, you know? And like that kind of dynamic, especially with this kind of movie, which, you know, everybody has seen one, you know, alien, usually a CGI creature, just like lands on Earth, and then some random human normie has to interact with them. That's how these go, and it's snarky comments the entire movie and just jokes, and like there's plenty of that. But I feel like the tone of it is like simultaneously trying to be like wacky cartoon and also like grounded snarky remarks, which sometimes it works really well, but I think it could have worked a lot better, more consistently if they were like allowed to. Like in like Rick and Morty, there will be like a lot of the characters, like one character will just do some insane shit, and the other characters will just be like, what are you, like, what the fuck are you doing?
They're reacting like actual humans.
Yeah, exactly. And like actual people would say like, what the fuck?
And
like
when Sonic pushed them off, those two people off the building, they made some small remark, and that was it.
Yeah,
and
pretty
then
much.
like robotics, like
Oh yeah, sorry, you almost killed us. Yeah.
like
you almost
robotics,
pushed them off the
like
building.
I was not expecting.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
also
that was
that
good.
was also really
That was
funny
good.
when,
And
then he was like-
when Sonic goes, I know exactly what to do. Pushes them off the building, and
was
Eggman. What's great about that joke is that Eggman was just silent for a second. He was just like,
He was
like
eyes were blown wide. He was like,
he leaned over his like.
He had the same reaction as us.
Yeah, exactly, and he
You're
was
like,
just
"What?"
like, I did not expect that. And like that was really funny. That was another. Now that I'm looking back on this, there were actually a couple like laugh out loud jokes.
I laughed out loud a lot. Like it was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I
And
thought it
that-
would be some like lowbrow, tiny weenie hug.
Yeah.
Like I was
Yeah.
praying it wasn't
Like
a lo-
cartoon.
I was really praying it wasn't like Super Mario Bros. Level of
It
bad.
surprised me.
And
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you need to.
Oh, I haven't
you
seen
need
it.
to.
you
It's
need
so
to.
bad.
Yeah.
I haven't
But
seen
like
it
it was a lot better than I thought it would be, and like that makes me happy as a Sonic fan. And like I walked out of that theater appreciating that movie. Like sure there were
Yeah.
some really bad parts.
I mean,
like
I mean-
flossing or in like the fart
pros
jokes
outweigh
or
the
whatever.
cons.
But like I had a good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
yeah,
that's really
as
all
like
that
as a
matters.
I think that people who like Sonic are going to like this movie. I mean, obviously that people who like Sonic are going to like this movie more, but like this is strangely like a movie that seems to have been made for people who haven't seen Sonic.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of Sonic lore. Like,
They didn't really key into
like-
like the high level.
Like,
I-
the rings,
like,
like,
they coulda-
that's like an old comic reference. Like the rings being used as portals.
Yeah,
I mean,
the old,
well,
Knuckles
like-
the Kid tribe and such.
Like they didn't. I mean, like they like a lot of that stuff. But the thing about a lot of that stuff is that it doesn't really make a difference to like the story or like just joke. And I mean, I say this because like the main point of this story is jokes. You know, like this is primarily a comedy, but there weren't really that many jokes that were that like what if Sonic. It's kind of unfortunate because like Sonic in this movie he leaves his home universe like super young, so I feel like a lot
There's
of
so much unrealized potential there. Like
Like,
what
I
they could
think-
have done
like, I
with
think
all
that-
that.
like,
it
it
was
would've been
like
really
so
cool.
lonely. Like
Yeah.
you could see that that's one of his character points where he talks
That
to
I
himself.
actually-
like
I
I
really
noticed he talked
appreciated
to
that.
himself a lot
Yeah.
when he thought he was alone or he was actually alone.
I mean, I
And,
was
like-
not expecting. I was not expecting like I mean I was expecting them to try to like make some like emotional moment and they did. And they did better than I expected, but that wasn't like amazing because I really was not expecting much. Like I would like because the original trailer looked so horrendous, my initial thought going into this movie is like this movie is being made by people who have no idea how to appeal to people who want to see a Sonic movie, you know?
That's their
So I was
strategy.
expecting
That's their strategy to make you think it's absolutely the worst pile of
Yeah,
trash.
yeah.
And then
oh, whoops,
surprise
I
you
just-
with how decent it is. That's the strategy.
Like,
I mean, I can't say you're wrong, but like basically like at the end of the movie when when Sonic like almost dies or whatever, and then he like stands up and he's like, "I'm protecting the people I love." I was like, okay, because I really didn't care that much about anybody. Like nobody in the movie is like that. Like they're likable
I can't even
as
remember
like
the main
normal.
character's name.
Tom,
It's
yeah.
Tom, yeah.
So like they're perfectly
Donut
fine
guy.
as just
I
like
know his name is
Donut
Donut
Lord.
Lord.
Donut Lord, yeah.
Donut Lord. He's always gonna be
And
Donut
was it
Lord.
Pretzel Lady or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
Pretzel Lady.
Pretzel
yeah.
Lady and Donut Lord.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
see
got the
fan
two
fiction about
foods.
this. There's gonna be fan fiction about this.
Oh
Definitely.
no.
But okay, but like the point is that like these characters like by the end of the movie, the movie acts like Sonic and Donut Lord have had this like amazing adventure. Like they became such good friends.
That's
but
what
like
the bar-
known
it's
like
each
a
other.
two-day journey.
They've known each other for like 2 days.
Yeah.
The whole
And
bar. I
Sonic-
think the whole bar thing and the whole motel thing was supposed to
there
be
was
them
there was
fleshing out their
there was
friendship.
2 scenes to like establish them, and it was just them, and it was just them like getting into a wacky scenario. Like the bar scene is the closest that it comes to that, and then like when they're in the car, they just like have this vague back and forth about like this is what I want, like.
But
what,
then he
what
also,
would
but then
make
Tom saved Sonic's life by taking him to his wife. They were married, right?
Yeah.
I think
think
yeah, they were
so.
married. They were
Yeah.
married.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, he took-
but like I mean, yeah, and like this is getting into that is that like they act super like friendly and nice to each other after a relatively short amount of time, and like I don't really, and it's all born out of like obligation because Sonic's initially like, dude, you tranquilized me,
You
kinda,
shot me
like,
in the legs. They're noodles.
like you owe this to me, and he's like fine. So like obviously initially they're not supposed to be like buddy. It's like pure like this is purely a relationship out of obligation.
Yeah.
But then like they become friends, and I just didn't feel like there was that much like for them to become friends over. What would have made me feel like that, and like generally how you want to do this is like have the two of them like tell each other what, like in a natural manner, obviously, not just exposition dumps, but like have them like converse about what their issues are. Like each of like Tom is struggling
with wanting to belong.
I guess Tom really doesn't have that much of a struggle. Like
His struggle is that he wants.
He has
like,
an internal conflict. With,
it's 'cause he
his
wants-
location.
what internal? He's like
Because,
he's
like,
not.
If
He
he
doesn't
wants
feel.
to remain at the.
But like he
with his
doesn't feel
tradition.
conflicted about it at all at the beginning of the movie. He's 100%
Yeah, but after
confident
Sonic
about going.
Sonic points it
Yeah,
out to
Sonic
him.
points
Then
Yeah,
he's
it's only
conflicted.
And so that created the internal.
Okay, but here's the thing: is that Sonic's argument is bullshit. It's so he says like Sonic's argument is that like
the people care about him.
Yeah.
That's Sonic's argument.
Sonic's argument is that like it's satisfying to protect people. I guess this is a bit of an
that you care about.
I guess I'm just a robot who has no emotions. But like
I felt.
But like I guess I just don't really see how Tom could like it seems unlikely that Tom would like have his entire life goals changed and convinced by this alien that he's known for less than
How
a day.
old is Sonic in this movie?
I don't
Well,
know.
Is he like normal
He's
Sonic?
obviously-
Is he the normal Sonic 16? That's
If this takes
apparently
place
him.
in modern day, and he arrived when he was like.
Does Sonic
like
age
5
at
It
years
the-
old
said
or
10
something.
years later at the beginning of the
It
movie.
did.
So he's at youngest not 10 because like he was like a small
Probably
child.
like 6 if he was 16 in the movie.
No, because like in like the Sonic comics.
Okay,
or
just
something,
tell
he
me
was,
if
like,
I can-
canonically 16. So is he 16? He acts younger than he appears. So is he just like 16 at oldest? Youngest
Just tell me if he's
10?
legal or not.
He was driving.
He was driving, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call that driving.
Like how old is he?
I don't know.
Here, let's look it up.
Yeah, when he was
Yeah.
when he was just wearing the towel and the towel around his body, and he like had his legs crossed. I noticed that.
That kind of like pointed to a bit of maturity there. Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
He was also in a bar.
He was also in a bar.
There was alcoholic drinks in this movie.
I don't think he
Oh
drank.
my god, Eggman said hell. Guys!
Oh, Eggman
Oh
said the
my
H
god!
word.
He said the H word, and then literally 2 seconds later, Tom almost said the B word.
Oh my god, this is insane. Who cares?
I'm still kind of surprised they did that.
Are you like
How is it still PG?
is it
in
is
the
it
first
just surprise? Like
Yeah.
you're okay.
Not like, that's kind of that's a thing they did.
Well, I mean, I like in PG movies, my understanding is that they're allowed to say hell once, so long as it's not like
You can-
telling
you can
somebody to
say-
go to hell.
in a PG movie, I think, or is it PG-13?
This was a PG
In one
movie.
of them, no, like in general, in a PG or PG-13 movie, like you could say you could say fuck once. Before.
I think that's PG-13.
It's PG-13.
I think
You could
it's
say fuck
PG-13,
once.
And then
So-
and in
More than that,
in
then.
PG, and so in PG movies, my understanding of it is that you can say hell once. Like I just watched Road to El Dorado a couple weeks ago, which is amazing. But I think that movie is PG, and they say hell once. Like I don't know, like it doesn't matter. I think.
I know, but like the kind of the target audience
But what does
that they wanted this movie to be for, that is technically, well, to us it's not really a bad word, hell, but like to the
Sound
Yeah,
the
for
age-
sound
the
the
8-year-olds
fucking
who are watching
alarms.
watching this movie, it's probably like real on edge for them.
yeah.
Like real like edgy, like they want this totally. Okay, so I was talking about earlier. This totally sets up the stage for an R-rated Shadow the Hedgehog movie.
That would be awesome.
Imagine like Shadow the Hedgehog wielding like full on.
Bro, that would be.
I
Bro,
think
that
they did
scene
it in a
of
game.
They could totally do it.
the scene of Tails at the very end of the movie when he like comes out of the ring or whatever, and he like walks towards the camera, and it's got this like upward angled shot of him,
Yeah.
and he just kind of like looks down at his hand. He's got like a thing in his hand. That was like, I swear, that was like literally shot
I
for
think that's
shot
supposed
what
to
the
be the
opening.
Miles
Yeah.
Electric, and that's
It
weird.
looked exactly like the opening cutscene to the Shadow the Hedgehog video game, which
Maybe
was
that's
like,
what it's going for.
I mean,
deliberately
this movie. I
referencing
mean, this
that.
movie like sets up. This. It's so weird.
Set up
that
a
this,
sequel
it
with
sets
not only
up a sequel.
Eggman. It's not only like sets up the sequel with Eggman, like on the mushroom world, going, "I'm gonna be back by Christmas," and then Tails walking out of that portal. Which,
And he's
by
like,
the way,
and he's
they
like,
got
"Gotta
that.
find Sonic."
And he's like, "He's here. I know he is." And it's like, okay. So first of all,
When did Tails and Sonic meet?
in the comics, they met when it depends on the story, but like in one, it's like.
I mean, in this movie, Sonic leaves his home universe.
like, were they actually ever friends, or
Yeah,
like,
like in this,
or is
like in
Tails
this
just like?
movie,
I mean,
Sonic
probably met
leaves
at
his
some
home
point.
world when he's like a baby. So like, if
I don't think they actually met. Well, if there's a sequel, we'll find out.
for Tails
this
to
movie
be
canon?
for
not
Tails to be like seeking out Sonic, like he like
in the
Ta-
comics, Tails was bullied for having two tails, and like
And then Sonic was like, "Hey, you don't have to. You can just kill them instead."
basically.
Have any of you guys read Tails Gets Trolled?
Oh, is that like
He just takes Shadow the Hedgehog's advice and shit, where he just takes Shadow the Hedgehog. Sonic, have you basically Tails Gets Trolled is like a it's like an MS Paint fan comic about Sonic the Hedgehog, and it starts off the first chapter with Tails just like kind of he's like walking through the forest, and then these like trolls, which are basically just like grungy humans, like assholes, they just like jump out of the bushes and they're like, "Oh, you're gay, you're a faggot." They just like call him names and stuff, and then he's just like, "Shit," and Tails just like goes back and he like talks to Sonic, and he's like, "Sonic, I got trolled by these guys," and Sonic's like, "Okay, here's what you got to do. All right, you got to kill him with kindness. All right, you got to make them your friend." And so they go back to the trolls, which they're like still in the same spot, I guess, and they're like, "Ha, Sonic and Tails, you guys are gay. You die. Ha, troll." And then Sonic's like, "Listen, guys, I know we got off on the wrong foot here, but like we can totally be friends." And they're like, "What? No, fuck you, die." And then Sonic's like, "Shit, it didn't work." And so they go back. To the same area, and Shadow's there. And Shadow's just like, "That was stupid advice. You should have never done that. Here's what you do: is you kill them." And then they do.
So
I mean, Sonic wasn't part of it, but Shadow just went and murdered them.
so
That's like a great comic. They should make it canon.
It's way like Ronald McDonald gets involved. Chester the cheetah.
So probably
Also
be
known as
copyrighted
also
fiction
known as
then.
the Cheeto Man. And Batman.
Chester the cheetah guy would be pretty much perfect for the Sonic universe. He's an animal. He
Yeah.
has special ability. He can produce cheese.
Yeah, he has a
does?
special. Yeah, he has a special move called the Cheeto Ball, which is like a DBZ laser. That like you have to get like real like calm state of mind, and so whenever he does it, or like when he teaches Tails how to do the Cheeto Ball, because Tails is the chosen one, not in why. But he's like teaching Tails how to use the Cheeto Ball, and he just like hot boxes a room with weed, and it just so that they can get like real like focused on the Cheeto ball, and Tails learns the Cheeto ball, and it's amazing.
So, after that first scene where his mentor dies, the whole rest of the story takes 10 years. Takes place 10 years after.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
like, how
okay,
old
well,
was
how old was he? How old
doesn't
was Sonic
say
when he was a
here.
baby?
Okay, so
When
at
he was
most
Batty
he's
Sonic?
16,
Yeah.
like in canon.
Okay.
Anyway, so I noticed this in the theater. Tails was voiced by the same person who voices Tails in the games.
Okay.
Really?
So why is the person why was Ben Schwartz cast as Sonic if the person voicing Tails was Tails?
Well, I guess it'd be kind of hard to
don't
make an
know.
emotional scene like the last bit would go at. I fight for my friends.
I don't know.
going to kill you.
It's not like I don't
I mean,
appreciate.
that wouldn't be his
like
voice,
Ben
most
Schwartz
likely,
did a
but-
fantastic job. I'm just
he was great.
I'm just curious.
He did pretty good. I liked it. I liked the
They
overall
could
the
have had
voice
Jaleel
acting.
White. They
The
could have
voice
had
acting.
Jaleel White. They didn't.
The voice acting and the acting in this movie overall was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought like no like insane standout performances, but like also no one was just terrible.
I don't know. I thought the sister of the of Pretzel Lady was very good.
Yeah, she was good.
This is my house.
Yeah, I liked
pretty
her.
cool.
I guess,
That was
but she
amazing.
only had like 5 speaking lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they
I
were
bet she was
funny.
great.
She was pretty-
She
she was pretty
executed
good.
At
them.
least grab
She
my
was pretty
Fitbit
good.
so I can get some
I mean-
steps.
I love her.
That was the best part.
I think my mom has literally said that to me multiple times.
What,
like
grab my
like
Fitbit
like
so I
word
can-
for
Like
word.
JoJo's running around, going, I gotta go fast,
Joseph
gotta go fast,
Joestar.
gotta go
Jojo,
fast.
Jojo.
And then the Pretzel Lady
Jonathan
sister goes, at least put on my Fitbit so I can at least get some steps.
Yeah.
And keep in mind,
That was
she's
so
like
funny.
tied up
She
at
was
this
ki-
point.
I mean, I didn't think that she was that funny. Like her delivery on those
No.
jokes was pretty
No.
good, but like
Yeah.
it was the same joke over and over. And, like this is what's unfortunate about like that character is that like the first she's first like on the phone with the sister, I think. Or no, like
They're in the same room.
Tom is calling his like fiance or whoever
Wife.
wife over the phone, and she's like in the same room, and she's just like, you really gotta break up.
Divorce.
Divorce got a little old.
Yeah,
The
she,
rest
like,
of them weren't
So
great.
like that first joke was like, what? Like
that
I
was
couldn't even
terrible,
tell if they wanted it to be a joke.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were
but
married
then-
until then.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
they were.
that-
I thought they were
that's
dating.
fair.
Yeah, but then like they
Or
repeat
engaged.
the same joke with the same character over and over, except they're more like they're more jokey about it, you know?
Yeah,
sure.
And
Yeah,
so
they got the moves.
like I expected it every single time, and that was the only thing the character did, which was kind of unfortunate. But her delivery was good enough that I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of describes like my entire feelings about this movie. Was like it was pretty good, but I didn't really care.
Jim Carrey as Robotnik.
Jim
was
was
Carrey
great.
was Jim
fantastic.
Carrey was always
Yeah.
gonna be the best part of the movie. I mean,
The handlebar mustache.
I still
Like,
think Danny DeVito would have been better job. Pretty good job. He did a pretty good job.
Oh my
He
gosh.
did a pretty good job.
when Sonic
DeVito would've been
said
better.
Keanu was like a gift.
I think that were they like ahead of their time? Would it be considered their time if like, I mean that's kind of behind us for us as like a meme culture, but for them,
How
while they were
awesome
making
would
that
it-
movie, probably would have been before, well, like during the development process.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That'd be weird.
But like that was a good.
It would have
joke.
been so
was-
like
that
like
Jim
they
Carrey
had
as Robotnik, like how flamboyant Jim Carrey made him
Yeah,
was just like
that
that
was
is
perfect.
that's who Eggman is, and like that's how he is in the games. That's how he is in the.
He's very bold.
I want his
Some of the-
lab
and,
coat.
like,
that
some
was
of
a
the-
sick
Oh
lab
yeah,
yes,
coat.
that was-
I want
was
his
cool.
car.
Yeah, no,
That was
his
van.
his
No, his
black and
van.
red lab like coat, like
Oh my
That was
gosh,
cool.
yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love the
Jim Carrey, yeah, I
And
mean-
that joke when he stuck Sonic's quill in his mouth and then he tried to hand it off to like I don't know who's that.
I couldn't even tell.
His
That
assistant.
wasn't.
That was Stone.
Was that supposed to be a joke?
I think. It was
Yeah,
supposed to be a
like-
joke. I like when he
like,
like
he
asked him
takes
to
it,
pin
like-
himself down.
That
like-
was. Yeah.
No, because like he
Yeah.
got,
Now
he
that
got
I'm
the
thinking
quill.
about it, this movie had a lot more pretty funny jokes than I recall.
Yeah, like he puts the quill in his mouth and he goes, and he hands it to tries to hand it to Stone.
You want to try it?
He must be very strong though if he put it in like the little thingy and it was like unlimited
Yeah.
power. Like if it had a
It
limited
completely
power,
broke the power system of his
Yeah.
semi-truck.
It's probably not
It had
actually.
a limited power, but
He
it
just
barely
licks it, it's
phased
like,
him.
oh,
Eggman,
whatever.
Robotnik
prob-
is stronger than his own truck.
It's probably not.
That's why he can run so fast.
Robotnik, yeah. Robotnik
Fair.
is comparable in power to Shaggy.
It's probably not actually unlimited power, but it's probably more power than
Then it can register.
Yeah, that it can register. So it says unlimited, and he's all like unlimited power.
Unlimited power.
But it's probably just like slightly higher than what he can comprehend.
Yeah. I mean, he can comprehend a hell of a lot.
So
I liked when he was dancing to his
And
that was
song.
good.
music.
Oh yeah,
That was his best.
Yeah,
that
was
and
pretty
then where
good.
he was running from the dinosaur.
that was no legal
yeah.
left, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
Oh no, I made
One
it
of his
so loud.
lines.
He was
Like,
such a he
like
was a
Sonic
very
made
good
an
character.
illegal left, and he goes, "That was an illegal left, by the way."
Oh
But
yeah.
then he follows him. Was like, oh, that was an illegal left.
It was funny.
that
Yeah,
was-
but he was flying.
I mean,
Sonic was out like
It's
there was
still
there's
illegal
no
left, though.
I mean,
no
I
there's
guess.
no there's no traffic.
Sonic
eyes.
crashed a car.
Are you sure?
There's air
Next we
traffic?
know.
Yeah,
that
wait, yeah.
Like,
when
Sonic's
they,
learning
when
how to
they were,
drive,
when they
and,
were
like-
driving,
Why'd
when they
they
were
let him
driving,
drive?
And
yeah,
Tom-
exactly. They asked the question, and Sonic was like, "Look, I saved your life," and I was like, "That doesn't explain why they let you
Yeah.
drive."
Okay, so like in the first time, like Tom let Sonic drive, he's like, "Where did you learn how to drive?" And like Sonic has a driving manual.
And
right
he's like,
there.
"I'm learning right now," and I was like, "Okay, funny joke," but like that should theoretically establish that Sonic
can't
cannot drive a car, and
then they
Tom
completely
knows
hand it
this,
over
and
to
then then later on he's just like, "Yeah, whatever, just let him drive," and Sonic bangs up the car. You think that after he runs into like the first thing and like puts a dent in the car, Tom would be like, maybe I should like take over for now since you
He is,
obviously
like,
are incompetent.
He's super short. He's like
He
the
can't hit
height
the pedals.
He's the height.
They acknowledge that. Tom's like, I put it in cruise control because Sonic's too short to reach the pedals. So he's like, all you have to do is steer. It's in cruise control.
And he's like,
Does it
touch
matter?
the brakes. So then that means Sonic would have to go like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
completely shift his
No
own
one can
position.
actually see that, but like I got on the ground.
I bet that's what it looked like in the behind the scenes.
Do you think there's gonna be a bias?
Oh wait,
I
we were
hope
talking.
they
Okay, so we were
release
talking
the
about how Tails would look before.
Oh, yeah.
But what about all those echidna people at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah,
Well, they
like,
had
would
masks
they
on.
have redesigned
So-
all of them?
Also, why are they echidnas if the echidna race was wiped out?
I think they're just supposed to be like not echidnas. I don't know what else they could
I mean,
be,
they were-
but
they
like.
were
Maybe
moving
they're adding
to-
like new lore.
They were moving too fast for
Do
me
you
to
think
tell,
this
but like
movie
they
is supposed to
looked-
be like canon to the? There's no
I wouldn't
like.
be surprised.
It
Sonic
does
has
say
some pretty
no
weird
way.
stuff.
here
Well,
that
it
they
does.
were attacked in the beginning by a tribe of echidnas.
Okay,
So
so
That's in the
then
comics.
this movie must follow a different
canon.
canon.
Alternate
I mean,
universe?
that's interesting, of course, but
Thirsty,
like
I'm gonna go get some water.
it's. I mean, that's an interesting thing to do.
Any of you guys want water now?
I'm good. Anyway, so it's like it's interesting to make a new canon, and it's like they did it pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't really take away like, and then people who haven't seen Sonic could understand what was going on.
Oh,
and people
totally.
Who've seen,
yeah.
And people who've seen Sonic knew what was also
Yeah,
going on.
we found the funny references that they made every 30 minutes or so.
Yeah. So it's like
It was
That's
fast.
like
Yeah.
3 references in
It
the
was-
whole
it was
movie.
sooner
it's an
better than
hour and
2.
40 minutes.
It was probably
It's better
more
than
like
nothing.
every.
It's better than
I mean,
every
they
five.
made 3 references in the movie. Like, that's better than 2. It's like, yeah, I mean, I
It's every
guess.
five. Yeah.
I was actually like when Sonic was on the ground, like basically dead. I was like, is he gonna go supersonic?
That'd be cool.
I thought, like,
They
okay,
wasted-
okay,
they wasted
that's what I
potential, though.
thought that they were
didn't
trying
involve
to
the Chaos
build.
Emeralds at all.
I thought they were trying to build up to Sonic going hypersonic because, like,
But they don't have the.
they don't
Yeah.
explain the electricity power at
Love.
all.
My guess
Yeah.
is that like no, it's when he gets like overwhelmed with like an emotion.
But, like, I mean, just like,
I think it's like since lightning is
Why?
synonymous with being really fast.
I
Like they just
guess.
added that
Flash.
design choice to him.
Like it's also a
So-
different again Sonic canon. My
Yeah, it's a
theory
different
because like
Sonic canon.
Sonic got really upset that like he was actually alone. And when he finally realized that, he broke down, and it sure seeing the run.
I mean, like, okay, breakdown. he just went like, I really am alone, and then he sighed, and then he just started running in a circle really fast for no reason.
I gotta supercharge myself because I'm
my
so sad.
okay, because so like
Yippee.
sometimes you just gotta run out your problems.
Yeah.
Because like he
Alright.
can't run
Yes.
around that much without
I get,
being
like,
seen.
I guess
So-
I get that, you know.
And the
but
second time he was being very emotional in
Yeah.
the car, and
That
he's like,
one-
not again. And so it's like he clearly doesn't have.
I guess
really
the
much
idea is
control
that
over
it's
it.
just that, yeah, like, he's getting worked up, but like, you'd think that kind of thing, like, they could have introduced that when when whatever the Hawk girl or whoever.
I don't actually recognize
when he
her.
like when she was like, go. Leave or whatever. Run away, Sonic. Never stop running or whatever. And then he's like, no, don't run or whatever. Like they could have at least.
He was also a small child.
Yeah, like they.
So
go...
maybe it just didn't develop.
Okay,
yet.
yeah, but like this is obviously the kind of power that's like it's dormant inside of him. He's always had it. He just has to unlock it. That kind of like Okay, my point is that this like weird electricity power, which Sonic, to my knowledge, has never had. Just kind of like is a part of his character now, and Sonic acknowledges that like, whoa, that's never happened before. I have no idea. Like, I didn't know that I had this power, and the movie's just like, yeah, no one really knows why it's there. No one really knows why it exists.
Maybe if there's a sequel,
it just
we'll
kind of
find out.
it just kind of is.
Well, Sonic's not really much of a stranger to weird abilities. In the original game, he has the bubble shield, which he can just pop out of nowhere.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
I
but
would be
that's
surprised
yeah,
if
but
he
that's
traded
In
that.
the original game,
isn't
when
that
you find all the
power-up,
Chaos
right?
Emeralds, like in the first Sonic game, when you find all the Chaos Emeralds turned to Super Sonic, I can probably guarantee you that's the first time that's ever happened to Sonic.
Yeah,
And he kinda rolled with it.
but that's because he had these like mega powerful stones that were established in the universe of Sonic as like these have like a shit ton of like super magical power. If you got the like
Who's
doesn't
to say that all the electricity powers doesn't have to do with the Chaos Emeralds?
Yeah.
What if-
because the movie says nothing about it during its runtime. It's just there.
I don't know. Maybe maybe they didn't talk about it in the movie because they were building up for a sequel.
Yeah, well, it's too bad. Because, like, if I recall correctly, I think the studio is actually being shut down because they took so long and, like, took so much money to actually remake it.
Because they failed.
So no R-rated Shadow the Hedgehog movie in the future, at least not for this studio.
But
But maybe with the success of this movie, I
They'll
think
make
it's
Fair.
Illuminate. No.
Maybe they'll break even.
I think it's Sony that made.
Yeah. Paramount.
It was Paramount.
Yeah, Paramount.
Maybe I hope
liked
Paramount
what they did
reconsiders
with the
decision.
rings at the beginning.
That was cool.
Because
Yeah, it had like the Sonic doo-doo-doo.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It was like that.
Oh, I
Green
didn't
Hill
hear
Zone.
that.
I did. It was great.
Yeah, Green Hill Zone. That was a great.
See, I was
orchestral.
kind of like, well, maybe they're referencing Green Hill Zone with the name of the town, Green Hills, Montana.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if that's an actual place in Montana.
And I
Like,
think it's made up.
Is it?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Look it up.
I will.
Like there was just a lot of subtle references that I really
Yeah.
liked.
Hmm?
Like
the
I
average
liked
watcher wouldn't really get much.
I liked how they showed that Sonic was really fast. Like with Sonic, like basically seeming to be time stopped around him, but is really not. It's just he's just moving so fast.
Yeah. His senses are moving so immensely fast, and they're used to him going so fast that he can function well.
And when Robotnik's like, I have the power of Sonic now, and he basically entered Sonic's like super
Yeah, that was
fast time
cool.
stream.
That was like
super cool.
That was like JoJo Part 3 last bit, where like two people in the world of stop time like that. That was almost shot for shot like that. I could totally see a rework of that.
That was really cool.
That was cool. They kind of missed some potential with that. Like they could have easily done some stop time stuff with that.
At least they didn't do it just the once. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad that they did that in the bar scene too to establish
That was cool. That established that it actually.
Oh, you mean
exists.
like Quicksilver? Are you talking about when he like runs super fast and everything around him slows
yeah.
down?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad that they established that
That kind of
early in the movie, so when it
As
happened
soon as-
later, we'd
yeah,
be
we
like,
wouldn't be
oh
surprised.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
as
the
soon
thing
as-
he can do.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
as
he
soon
could
as-
just use the
oh, yeah.
world out of nowhere.
I knew that would happen. Like it was in the trailers, and like I knew that would happen at some point. And like with those kinds of scenes, I whenever I see those scenes, I'm always like, oh man, if he pushes that person, they should die because he's moving so fast. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
literally just had to turn off my brain and like not think about it when watching it, and that helped a
Yeah,
lot.
but Sonic at the same time, he was trying to smash a bottle on some guy's head and start punching him.
Yeah.
and
He's established to be not.
It was
very
so
strong.
obvious that was CG. Like looking
Yeah.
at like that bottle was
Like, he didn't
not
move at
hitting
all.
his head. Well, I mean, also like just like the way that the shadow of the bottle landed on
They
his
also
head.
had to They also.
It just looked
Yeah.
not at all like it was in the same universe.
The same with the underwear on Sonic's
Yeah.
head. That one scene. The fish was fine. The fish actually looked.
Fish
pretty
looks
good.
great.
Yeah, it looked a bit fake.
A
but-
plus for the fish.
Yeah.
The
Fish
underwear-
is the best part of this
Fish
movie.
and seaweed.
That's all I remember of this
Fluffy
movie.
Sonic
in the
was
future.
cool.
The fish.
I liked Fluffy Sonic.
I
Oh,
unfortunately.
that was adorable.
I would have laughed at that, but I unfortunately saw a YouTube thumbnail, which I did not click on,
Oh.
that had that in thumbnail, and I was like,
Those are the worst. When you get spoiled.
I tried my hardest to avoid spoilers for this movie, though I don't think that it would have changed much. Now that I've seen it, I don't think that spoilers would have changed that much of my impression of it. But did you guys also avoid spoilers? Or did you...
I watched the
I saw like
other than the trailer. I think I watched the one trailer, and then I watched the one trailer, the old trailer, and then I saw that they had made the redesign, and I was like, cool. And like
I watched all the trailers, and it didn't. The trailers did not tell the story.
Yeah.
See,
Like they kept in the trailers, all of them very vague. So like
it's
it's
all the best
reveal
jokes.
The story.
Like sure, but then like I walked into the movie, and I'm like thinking, okay, this is the plot, and I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kept it so vague in the trailers to want and.
To like entice you to keep going, because you don't know what the plot's going to be. I mean, you know the basic outline that
Because-
Eggman's gonna kill Sonic.
I mean, it is pretty obvious
specifics.
what it's like the specifics. Yeah, I get that, but like it is pretty obvious that this is gonna be like a buddy cop, like what I described earlier, like two people who are forced to be together based out of the situation,
and then gradually bond,
and then gradually
wacky
becoming
and
friends.
experiences.
Exactly, like that kind of thing is like pretty obvious, and you can very easily see that happening throughout the beginning of the movie. So if you're like at all savvy in like movie tropes and stuff, then this movie like getting going is probably gonna be kind of boring, especially because I really don't remember like many good jokes that didn't happen at least until like the middle of the movie. Like
yeah,
I get like when Jim
Start was a little slow.
Yeah, when Jim Carrey like put his finger over his mustache and he did like a weird dance in front of the house for no reason. That was kind of funny. That was towards the beginning of the movie, but like other than that, I can't remember anything that really made me
When
chuckle.
Sonic did the I have no idea, he didn't do the spin and like
Yeah! Why did they change the animation?
They got rid of it.
That was like the best part of it.
And it's like that.
Instead, they made him floss.
They made him floss.
Then why did they make him?
That made
Sonic
Sonic
their
floss.
They gotta appeal to their 8-year-old audience, my friend. They gotta make sure they get that corporate money from the sponsorships.
Hopefully they will learn if they make a sequel, which they were really hinting at. They need to fix that.
I think they're gonna make a sequel.
They're probably gonna fix that. Clearly the Sonic team listens to criticism after all they completely redid the movie.
To be fair, I think that the theories about how they like planned out how they knew that the initial design was so ugly that nobody would like it, and that
no, that was actually what they're going to be.
I think that the theory about that.
Strategy.
Well, I think that the theory about that is at least plausible.
It's plausible, but apparently it's actually really false because Jim Carrey apparently got pretty upset about the people wanting to redesign it because it was the director's envision was the original Sonic design.
Wait, like Jim Carrey got upset at the people who were getting upset about the original design, or he was upset about the original? Oh, so Jim Carrey wanted the ugly design
because he was like, "That's the director's envision of the movie," and it's like, that's what people were talking about, and I'm like,
he probably hasn't played a Sonic game, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know.
Are you playing Eggman really good?
Jim Carrey's probably playing.
I mean, he probably had like some character profile look through.
He probably
the way that Tom said Sonic.
You can't be in this. Yeah, they're gonna keep Jim Carrey out of their movie because he's never played a Sonic game.
The way that Tom said Sonic was really weird. He's like,
what?
He was like Sonic, and it's like, dude, just say it like it's a name, not a title.
Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic. I was initially. I just remembered the one joke, which is probably one of the funniest, is when Sonic's narrating about this is everybody in the town, and nobody knows who I am except for Crazy Dave. And Crazy Dave holds up a picture of Sonic.
It's Sonic!
That was fucking hilarious.
That was a good joke in the first half.
That was
probably the
great.
best joke in the first half.
That and then
I could not
when
believe
he comes up with a chainsaw at the end, and the police officer's
that was so weird.
That made sense for his
character.
And then the police officer just
that was another thing that I felt like kind of like pulled the dramatic weight out of the finale was that like they brought that they had a crowd like I was struggling to figure out like where they were going throughout each rings. I was like, okay, they're in like the Wall of China, like all that stuff, like that all makes sense. But then when they went back to Green Hill or whatever, I was like, I didn't really know where they were. It was just in a random city. But then like his friend, but then his friend showed up, and I was like, "Where are we?" but because like his friend had been like
In a barn.
yeah
Yeah,
like
in,
they
like,
flew like they were
midday.
falling like
They were in midday. Now
Yeah.
it's night. Like how
How long were they chasing them for? I mean, then again,
I'd
he had a
assume
lot
that
of
it
rings
had
to
to. I'd
use,
assume that it
so-
had to be that they were like changing time zones. Like that has to be the implication.
Like,
But like,
But then
It
they
can't
did in the
turn-
exact same place.
But it can't turn from day to night in America when like you're somewhere else
Unless
across
he
the
was
world,
turning the
unless
Earth.
like more time
I thought
passed
that's
in
a thing.
between.
That's like
well, if
that's
you're
like
go-
cartoon.
I mean, if
Unless-
you're going from
yeah.
one side of the country to the other, that's like a 4-hour difference, right?
well, you'd have different like times.
You know,
of
because
day,
like the
but,
rings
it
took
wouldn't-
you immediately.
yeah, it's
but it's-
teleportation.
So it's like
Yeah,
why
so
was
it
it?
would, so it would
why,
be dark in one area and light in the other. A 4-hour
then why
difference
was
is
it-
plenty of time.
yeah.
No, why in Green Hill
When-
was it when they
Where
got
is
there?
Green Hill located?
Montana.
Montana.
Where is that?
It's,
America.
It's if
Thanks.
it's so if you go from the West Coast, it's like you go Oregon, however you care to pronounce it, and then Idaho, then Montana. Montana.
So
is
Montana's Pacific.
It's on the.
It's like a 2-day
West
drive
Coast.
from San Francisco
It's a 2-minute drive.
Yeah.
or Los Angeles.
In
that's
that
what-
basic
no.
circle
Where
of
is it?
So
Where
if
are
you-
they
if
going?
you're around
California.
If you envision Wyoming, so Wyoming.
This is all
Colorado,
very important.
Montana borders Canada and borders Wyoming, along with Idaho and North Dakota.
It's like a 3rd grade math problem. You know those?
Yeah.
Here, I will
Anyway,
pull up a map
so
for you.
it was daytime when Tom and Pretzel Lady
Pretzel lady.
got to Green Hill.
In
the barn.
Donut Lord,
So-
you mean?
Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady got to the barn in the hay. And then all of a sudden, it cuts to Sonic running through, where were they? Los Angeles? San Francisco? I forget.
Yeah,
San Francisco.
San Francisco. He's running, and it's day.
So he's
it's
running.
Clearly in San Francisco, and in Green Hill, it's day. But then, like, he goes to Egypt, and he goes to Great Wall, and it's also
I mean, like,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, is that on like
So
other
it's-
Oh
sides
yeah,
of
you're
the-
right.
And then,
That's
but then he
opposite
goes
sides,
back to Green Hill, and it's night. So how long was he running for?
He's running so fast.
He's
He's
running for
moving.
They were
Solid
doing the
couple hours.
Phineas and Ferb thing where they're bouncing around
Yeah,
the
yeah,
world,
yeah.
following the sun to make a
Yeah,
40. Like
that's what they were doing.
that episode was very confusing to me because like my initial that episode was so confusing of Phineas and Ferb because he was like, we're gonna add 15 hours onto the 24-hour day already. And that's like that's like almost a 40-hour day or whatever of like sunlight. And I was just like, but the sun isn't out for a full 24 hours. And like if you're adding 15 hours on, because like they're following the sun, so shouldn't it like be full sun for 48 hours by that logic? I don't know. It was very confusing.
But whatever.
Ah, yes, something
Anyway,
that very much
Also,
relates to
like,
the Sonic movie.
also, none of the also in that special, none of them slept. Like during they went all around the world, like
Because it was
seemingly-
daytime. Logically, you don't sleep.
But like you get
Logically,
tired.
Yeah, it's
Well, they did sleep at that one.
It was
hotel
daytime.
scene.
Listen, my sleep schedule is pretty fucked up, and I'll tell you, I sleep during the day all the time.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
I've been
filling
passing out at like 6
Oh,
o'clock.
is that why you were always asleep in English last semester? Just kidding.
I've never fallen asleep.
I don't think
I
I fell
have
asleep in a class
health
once.
class, 8th grade. I took a
Oh,
nap.
of
I took a nap during one of the important like documentary videos we were supposed to watch.
There's something important I don't remember.
I can't even tell you what the
Doesn't matter.
documentary is about. I fell asleep.
Exactly, because you were asleep.
It was probably
And nobody
about-
woke me up.
It was
The
probably
bell
about
did.
like it was probably about like this is how damaging teen sleep patterns are.
I've never fallen
and I
asleep in
fell
class.
asleep.
Yeah.
I love watching teachers
That is
though when they find
the
out people
only-
fall
They're so
asleep.
tired.
That is
You
the
fall
only
asleep.
time I think I've ever fallen asleep in class.
Hey, speaking of falling asleep, Sonic got hit with a tranquilizer dart. Why couldn't he react to that? He just
Yeah.
he just like
He- I didn't-
He'd
I
see
don't think
things
he-
and stop time.
I don't think he expected that to happen.
That's fair.
Because
I
he was
mean,
like, "Oh,
But is it like
come
stop
on."
time like a is it
Like,
like
I-
a mode he can turn on and off? or
Wait,
is
he
it, like,
didn't
constant?
expect the man pointing a gun at him.
I don't think he expected
he
it to
wasn't
be-
ready to. He
No.
wasn't ready to dodge.
I think because Tom was the first person to see Sonic.
He was just
He
in
didn't know how he'd
panic
react.
mode, I guess.
Like Sonic has never been seen
People make
before.
weird decisions in panic.
Well, I
So,
mean,
like,
he was seen by
You could
that
see
guy.
Well, that doesn't really
you could
count.
see in his expression that like clearly he wasn't meant to be seen,
meow.
and he's like meow,
Meow.
and then he
Uh.
starts screaming.
meow.
Meow.
Meow. Yeah. What if he went yeah?
I hate that.
What if Sonic just like happened to peer in like through the window of just like only the times when they were watching anime, and then Sonic would just like exclusively make like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure references throughout the entire movie. Okay.
Nobody met JoJo.
It would be such a that's right. It'd be
Jonathan, what are you doing here?
JoJo. Yeah.
Soardo.
Joseph. But like, okay, like literally having Sonic like it would have been like honestly it would have been such a mystery it was such a missed opportunity in my opinion to have Sonic like not be constantly spouting meme culture because like you could easily explain that by Sonic just like happen to be like
hangs
looking
around
in.
the kids
Just say
game.
just say like Sonic like looks over people's shoulders or like through their windows and stuff like that, and he just happens to see when they're like scrolling through iFunny, you know, and he just like picks up like meme culture.
Maybe that's why he flosses, because he thinks it's cool.
Well, that's exactly
because he
the
thinks
thing.
it's cool, but it's not cool. It's actually
That's
not that
like,
cool.
that's
Because
exactly-
he saw some kids who liked dead memes. And then he's like, "Oh, that must be popular." No, and that's why he flosses.
Like, okay, but like
Oh
that's
my
but like
God.
but like if they had
Mic
taken
drop.
well, okay, see,
Case
like that's
closed.
obviously like obviously what they were trying to do with that is they're like, hey, this is a popular dance move. We should have Sonic do it in the movie just to make, even though it makes no sense.
Logically,
Yeah,
for
but
Sonic,
if they were to go logically in the movie, like if they I wish that they would have like gone like explained why Sonic would floss in that situation, but then also taken it to 11 by having Sonic constantly spout like really dead meme culture and just having the other characters react like Rick and Morty characters, being like, dude, that's so unfunny. Well, because then the writers could have just like pointed out how stupid kids who floss look.
That could have been like character.
Like, what if we got
where
like
he
what
gradually it realizes, oh, that's not funny.
Yeah, well, that's the
maybe
point.
it
Is
should
that
be
like,
good.
is
And then
that
he
like,
starts,
is
like-
that like one? It can be like ironic humor of like, oh my god, I can't believe Sonic is flossing. Oh my god, I can't believe Sonic is Fortnite dancing. You know.
Oh, this is the 17th time I've seen Sonic flossing.
But then, like we could have had Donut
Not
Lord,
with his wearing
but then Donut Lord could have just been like, "What are you doing? Stop!"
like that's a dead meme, and he goes, "It's not could have been like."
And and Sonic goes like, "What? What's a meme?" Like that would have like
what's a
that.
meme?
I think that would have been
Meme.
pretty.
What is a meme?
What is a meme?
Please explain to me this meme concept.
What if we had what if Sonic overheard like some kids talking about like boomers or whatever, and they're like, yeah, us and they're like, yeah, us Zoomers, we're the greatest generation, and
Okay,
Sonic
so-
was like,
okay,
I'm a
boomer.
Zoomer.
Sonic more ways than one. In more ways than one.
Sonic is like between
You can like misinterpret that.
Sonic's like about 16 years old, right?
He's our age.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
about
16.
our age.
I would say 16.
He can drive.
Yeah, so Sonic's a Zoomer.
Yeah.
Sure.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, like what if like just this whole idea of Sonic just like of just like picking up meme culture or just like general like what people find funny, but then like misinterpreting it and using it in inappropriate context.
That could've been cool.
I think that would have been a really funny concept because like what if like what
I
if
can zoom fast.
what if there was a scene where we had Tom being like, you do realize that nobody else can run as fast as you can, and Sonic's like, I thought there was a type of human called a Zoomer. Like, are you telling me they can't run fast? Like that would have been like if I wasn't expecting that would have been fucking hilarious.
That would be great.
And I would have screamed Zoom in the middle of the theater.
But
and
too bad
everybody,
there were people.
Yeah, and too bad there were babies crying in the middle.
that was the
if you
worst.
bring a baby to the movie
Get a
theater,
pacifier.
die.
I think the child was actually like 6 and just decided to die in the middle of a movie, and it's like,
Kill the child.
Well, but
Like-
see,
We
must destroy the child. Do it.
It was-
Execute Order 16.
well, so the movie was comedy enough that even people who probably didn't understand the movie were laughing at it. Like,
Yeah, there was
you
one- yeah,
you
there-
can hear
there-
the entire
There was
audience.
one
I
lady.
don't think
There was
I know a
one lady
single
in our
8-year-old
theater who.
Yeah, who was right behind
who was
us,
right
yeah.
behind us who would just go like. She like had a weird cackle.
Yeah, clearly she was having fun.
But like,
Yeah, she was having a blast. But she also like laughed at just like the most normie ass jokes, like when Tom what was it? When like the one lady Tom made like a one joke about like the one lady, she was like when he was talking to his wife over the phone, she said like pretzel lady Pretzel Lady said like your friend of yours, like they're gonna bore the brains out of him or something, like something about like how about his brains, and then and then Tom said responded to that going like, well, he doesn't have much left. Or whatever, and like, and the lady in the back was just like, like she found that funny, and I was like, I mean, okay, if like,
men are stupid,
like I'm glad that she can enjoy that, but I just found it kind of funny that she found that joke funny.
I laughed only because she laughed.
Same.
Yeah.
It's social pressure, you know.
No, I was
Feel
laughing.
the pressure to laugh.
Okay, so like speaking of that speaking of that incompetent police officer, when he was on the phone,
What was that?
speaking on the phone with Tom, he's like,
He looked
don't tell him we talked. And he,
Like his
and
character
then it
really
zooms,
changed.
and it
Like he went
zooms
from
out.
absolutely incompetent to
Even
like
more incompetent.
full on gun.
No, because like in the scene when like Tom's on the phone, like Pretzel Lord's on the phone with him, and it's like, oh haha, he doesn't really like he's basically an incompetent police officer, and Tom's like, don't tell the guy that we were talking, and it zooms out.
That was a good one.
And like he's right there.
He's just like,
I didn't think it was that funny because like it was so obvious that was
well,
the case.
of course, but still, he was just like,
I mean, like I
the
was,
surprise factor.
I guess I was just. No, but that's exactly the point. Is that I was not surprised at all.
I was expecting it, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting it.
yeah.
Well, I was expecting it, and at the same time, I was expecting it.
I was and wasn't.
Every 60 seconds in Africa.
Like I was like after it happened. I'm like, oh yeah, that was actually obvious. That was gonna happen.
probably, yeah.
But before that, I'm just like, oh, that's so.
Pulls a sneaky eye.
Like it's so weird that he's so zoomed in right now, and then like
Yeah.
it's zoomed out, and it's like
The camera angles are
Robotnik.
great.
Literally just the way he talked. I was like, obviously you're structuring your sentences in a way that won't piss off somebody who's off screen right now.
I guess I wasn't really
paying attention. I was more
Because
paying
in the middle of that, Sonic's like, I gotta stay in the car.
Yeah, I really liked how Sonic, like, initially, and there were a couple moments where Sonic was like talking to himself that I thought were like really annoying.
But logically, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Because
like,
that's
it,
his
but like,
character.
it like, I don't know what I was expecting because like when Sonic initially started talking to himself, I was like, it was pretty obvious that this is gonna be like a quirk of his character. But like, and I expected it to get annoying, and it was annoying in like a couple sections, but it kind of like. It was kind of like the best character development he got in the entire movie, you know?
It's because logically Sonic, like he
when
was alone, so he had
when Sonic
he
is-
was his
Supervised.
only company.
Probably.
So like even
That kind of
when,
manifested
when
as
he
the
did
entire
make
baseball game being him.
Yeah,
even
that was
when-
the most emotionally powerful scene in the entire
especially
movie.
when
if
he's
you
like,
ask me.
I'm truly like I'm actually alone.
mean,
that
that-
hurt my heart.
Yeah.
That one, not as much, because it was literally just him, like, talking to the audience, saying, like, this is what my problem is, guys, in case you didn't figure it out based on this entire, like, 2-minute
I don't know,
long
his
scene.
facial expression and the way that Ben Schwartz said it, that really, like, it hit my heart.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow.
I can see that. I guess I just like
It's not very often
appreciate.
you see Sonic.
I
with
just
that-
like appreciate that
Sad
because while that scene was happening, when he initially did that, I was initially thinking like, this would not be fun at all. You know, like Sonic, like playing a baseball game, I remember. Like at one point, I was like super into Yu-Gi-Oh, but nobody liked it at all. So I would literally like set up two sides of
Yeah.
the same board to
I've
like
done that.
play.
It's like,
Pokemon.
that's like playing checkers with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like
played
to like
Pokemon
play
with
against
myself,
myself or whatever, and like I was just like super desperate to like play this game that I really liked, but it wasn't fun at all because it wasn't another person. It was
And you
just
knew
me.
exactly
and
what
I
you
was
were gonna
so
do,
like I know
yeah.
exactly what like playing a game by yourself, like with only yourself, feels
It's
like,
like- it's
you know,
like-
and so I was just like, that's super boring, and like and upon like thinking that, I was like, oh fuck, he's not having fun. This is like
That's the
because he's
point.
desperate for companionship, you know, and unfortunately they didn't real like. I talked about it earlier, but like I don't feel like his like super close friendship with Tom was all that earned.
I think the friendship only happened so quickly. It was because Tom realized that Sonic didn't have any friends, and Sonic didn't have any friends.
Yeah, so it's out of pity.
Pity.
Maybe it's not like in the end, Tom like
Yeah, they
Pretzel
actually
Lord,
became good friends.
Pretzel Lord and Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady.
Pretzel.
Pretzel Lord.
That's their ship name, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that
Or don't
His
already.
name. So basically, they kind of adopted Sonic.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like
Yeah,
almost
like-
like a parent.
Pat,
They were
relationship.
that was so weird seeing them talk to Sonic like he was their kid when like for the
mean, it's
entire
second
He
hand.
has. He
Well,
goes
like,
to
for-
school. They're like, you have school in the morning, and it's like,
no they said it
He
they
is
said
not.
it's a school night. So
Yeah, they
I don't
did.
think it's implied that Sonic is going to school.
He
but
could.
like
He's going to Tetris.
Yes.
I mean, the town knows about him now. Like he
Yeah.
could go to school with the kids.
well no but like nobody's supposed to know
is
about him
the
because the
basic.
government agent comes by and they're like have you seen this blue hedgehog?
I don't think
we're
you've seen this blue hedgehog.
I think
my
we're
friend.
kind of looking for this guy. You know,
He
we might
is
want to
the
find him.
pacer.
And they're like, no, we haven't seen him at all.
I
No
think-
idea what you're talking. So
I
they're
think-
obviously keeping him
But
secret.
like Green Hill could also like keep him secret too.
Yeah, like okay, that's the one thing. That's one thing that I do appreciate about like the small setting is that like everybody in the town could like know about Sonic and be like, yeah, why would we like rat him out to the government? They're just gonna like experiment because like if this is in like New York, you know, because like the opening shot is in New York, and I was like, is this supposed to take place in New York? But like. If Sonic were just like living everyday life alongside Tom, which would be fine, and which seems to kind of be what's implied, is that wouldn't really work that well if they were in a setting where there were just like tons of people everywhere. But you know, this town there's a
Hence
couple hundred
San
people.
Francisco.
Yeah, but there's like a couple hundred people in Green Hill, so like that totally makes sense. What was I just gonna? Oh yeah, so it's super fucking weird how they're talking to Sonic in like this super like parent-child like dynamic when
Maybe
for
that's
the
why they
entire rest of the movie
Maybe
Sonic
that's why they
and
bonded
Ben,
and has developed a friendship so quickly. Because
but like you'd think that they would be like
How
buddy
there's a
buddy, you know, like a few minutes before that, Sonic and Tom like Sonic calls Tom Donut Man or Donut Lord, and then Pretzel Lady is like Donut Lord, and he's like, that's between me and him. They do like a high five or whatever, and Sonic's like, yes,
because he got
totally
excited.
rad. But
Okay, so
but
like
that was like
the
that was
high
like
five thing, like at the beginning of the movie with the baseball players, they were all high fiving, and Sonic like he was building up
yeah,
for a
that
high
was
five.
kind of a callback.
Remember? And like he didn't get one. That's when he's like, I'm really
Yeah.
all alone. But
I
like
like
in the end,
that.
he sees
He
a high
finally
five
gets
and he
the
gets
high
all
five.
excited about it. He revs up to jump up
Yeah.
and get it,
Yeah.
and that
I like the message. Like I said earlier, I just don't think they really earned it as much as it comes off in the movie.
it's still only like a short movie, and you.
It is only like an hour and 40 minutes.
so
or
like if
something.
it was
I don't know. I feel
if-
like they could have done a
if
lot
they
more
instead
with
made
it.
a TV show, they probably could have fleshed it out better. But it is a
Yeah.
movie. Then they had a time frame.
It'd be a bit difficult to animate Sonic like that for like 30 or so
could-
episodes.
It could have been a 2D animated show.
Yeah, it
Or
could've
like
been a
everything
2D.
could have been 3D animated, and it's just not that much detail.
I
But
want to
the-
see
the
a
kind-
show.
The kind of novelty of a Sonic movie. Would
I want to
probably
see
wear
a
off
show
and-
where everything is animated in the way that the trailer to Sonic Mania was animated.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be
was
good.
the
fucking
people who I
sick.
think the people
That
who
was
made
good.
Sonic Mania made like a Sonic Racing shorts on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. There's an entire channel about that.
Okay,
I
so
think
like
I've seen
there's
those.
like
I'll
they
have to
made
watch
Sonic
that.
Oh, they're
they made
good.
5 Sonic Mania shorts, and then there's Sonic Racing shorts that I haven't seen yet, but I'm pretty sure they're made by the same people because it's
Yeah.
the same style, and they're really cute. And like I liked all the Sonic Mania ones.
It
'cause
reminds
in
me
the
of,
end, in the end of one of them, oh god, yeah, no, I can't spoil it. You have to watch the Sonic Mania
Yeah.
shorts. Like
The style
'cause
reminds
Tails
me-
is adorable, and I
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah,
Tails
Tails
looks
is
great.
adorable. Classic Tails is like the most precious thing in the world.
That was
Yeah.
like my one thing about Sonic Generations is if why did they give Tails a voice and not Sonic? But whatever.
What?
And
In Sonic Generations?
yeah, Tails had a voice, but Sonic didn't.
Oh,
Sonic's not really a
Young
speaking
Tails
character in that,
or
though.
Classic Tails.
Yes.
I was like, wait, Sonic got a voice actor in Sonic. Older Sonic.
Anyways, yeah, that was my one pet peeve about that. But Classic Tails is
Wait,
cute.
about the game or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What did you guys think about that turtle scene at the beginning?
That was
I loved
cute.
it.
that was
funny.
adorable.
I liked how the turtle like
Starts shaking.
That was
it
my
started
favorite.
shaking and it like he fell over.
Yeah.
Or the part where Sonic was doing this, I was like, oh, he's totally gonna go fly.
Yeah.
And he just goes flying. I was like, yep, saw that one coming.
Like I knew
That
it
was
was
a good
coming,
one.
but it was still
I
funny.
didn't expect like
Yeah.
the actual interaction.
Yeah, a lot
with
of the
that.
jokes in this movie, I like the moment to moment jokes, not like the big ones that like these are the jokes that are obviously supposed to make you laugh instead of like, but like a lot of the like moment to moment little jokes that are just supposed to make you like crack a grin. I definitely saw like pretty much all of those coming. Like
But it was still funny, is what
Yeah.
like I liked
yeah,
about the movie.
it still made me like crack a smile. But like it was always the ones that I didn't see coming that made me laugh the most. Like
Oh,
like when he
yeah.
sets down the turtle and it's shaking, I didn't expect
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I thought the end of that scene was just gonna be like him dropping it and then like him picking it up and be like, oh, okay, and then he'd just kind of like stop and put it down and then like beginning of the next scene, or like maybe that would be when he like encounter Tom. No, that happened earlier. Whatever. But like. Or like the Sphinx, like Eggman blowing up the Sphinx. When I was like, I was expecting them to
nose.
like Sonic to just like run by the Sphinx and Eggman to like blow up or like shoot down just the nose.
No, he blew up the
but he
whole
just
thing.
blew up the
He
whole thing.
obliterated
That made me
it.
funny, and that was a completely unintentional. That was not a joke at all.
Was it unintentional though?
I'm
They're
pretty.
they're
No
putting,
one
like,
else.
40 chests over
I
here.
mean, no
Okay,
one else in the theater. I was the only person who laughed out loud in the
Oh,
entire.
I didn't
theater.
even hear
I
you.
chuckled.
Yeah.
I did
I
not-
have my chuckles, like my chuckles versus laughs are different. Like my chuckles are like but like my laughs are just like disgusting. They're disgusting. I'm sorry. Okay, so like
They're
there was this
beautiful.
oh god, what was the joke I really liked? Like the like, do you have a child in the back?
Yeah, that was a good one.
The one that
Oh!
they did in the trailer.
I know, but like they did it better in the movie
Yeah.
because he's like, this is worse than the cage you put me in.
That
I wasn't expecting him to
Yeah, yeah.
continue. I thought it was supposed to
It's-
be just like the trailer, and he's like, this is worse than the cage that you had me in earlier.
Yeah,
and
that
I'm
was
just like,
pretty
oh my god, that wasn't in the trailer, and it was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I liked
See,
it.
as someone who didn't.
Yeah,
really
all of the like
yeah.
I really like as much as I like I said that I don't think that my enjoyment of the movie would have been that hindered if I had just watched even more. I feel like like even more spoilers. I think when I said that I was thinking about spoilers in terms of like storyline, but the story is not really what I cared about with the movie.
Yeah.
Like the jokes are the best part of the movie. And I feel like if I didn't, I think I would have enjoyed the movie more if I didn't watch the trailer, because they did like 3 of the best jokes in the entire movie, which was the Sonic is like a child in the bag, and he's like, yeah, it's a child, but it's not mine. Don't worry about it. Or, like
Yeah.
that part. But then and then him going, how are you not dead yet? And Sonic goes, I have no idea. Though, given there's no way I could have avoided that, considering it became a meme format.
Yeah.
And then one other that I can't remember. But like the point is that like if those weren't in the trailers, I think that those would have been like the big laugh out
Yeah, they would've been
loud
fun.
ones.
More fun, at least. They added more.
They
like,
were
fun
good
stuff.
jokes.
the
though.
movie
Despite
really-
them being,
yeah.
despite them being in the trailers, they were really good.
For
jokes.
people like that lady behind us who just laughed at everything, like every like every obviously like snarky comment, like just like every snarky comment that the characters say like to each other, or like when the characters are intending to make a joke to each other and not like the movie making a joke to the audience. If you're somebody who will laugh at that stuff constantly, this movie is going to be a 10 out of 10 for you. I laugh most when like my expectations
Yeah, they're thrown out the
Yeah,
window.
see.
in terms of like because like for me, I'm almost constantly thinking about like, what is this movie trying to like tell me? Like, what is this scene trying to send to me? Like at the beginning, when Sonic runs around on the baseball field, and then like when that was happening, I was like, okay, so Sonic has this electric power. You know, the movie is trying to tell me that this is obviously going to be important later, you know, because this is like the catalyst for all the plot, right? And then when Sonic goes like, whoa, that's never happened before, I was like, oh, okay, so it's definitely going to come up later or whatever, and like maybe we'll get an explanation for why he has it. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Like
I
said,
think
it's
later.
I think because
He
they were
used the
expecting.
it came up
electric
later,
power.
but we never got an explanation
I
for
think
why he
they were
has electric
my
powers.
I think they were expecting to make a second movie.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
clearly.
certainly expecting
So
to
I-
make a second movie.
So
Well,
like
so they
maybe
did
that's why
test
they didn't say anything, so people would want to watch the second movie.
I mean,
to
I
figure it out.
most people probably like most of the people who like this movie and the people who are gonna want to watch a second movie are not gonna be the people who are paying super close attention to the continuity, like I am. Like a lot of my I think I would give this movie like a flat 5 out of 10. Just because like nothing about it offended me. But also just like nothing.
They didn't really push a lot of extremes like that.
Yeah, like there's
It was
like there.
very
innovative.
visually appealing.
They-
Like
the
Sonic,
animation
like,
was
Son-
great.
the anime, like
thought-
the CGI was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like seeing
in most
Sonic in a
scenes.
ball. I don't know
Yeah,
why, but I just
yeah.
really like
It's
seeing
visually,
Sonic in a ball.
aesthetically pleasing.
Unfortunately, he
Sure.
only gets in a ball like 3 times in the
Like,
entire
the fight
movie.
scenes were very good. All, like, the robots were all the badniks were very good. All of Jim Carrey's scenes were very good, so I would give this, like, a 7.5 out of 10. Like, sure, there are some bad parts, but, like, it was very decent.
I remember seeing, like, when he opened up the electrical equipment, there was a panel above named Badniks.
I saw that.
I don't think the egg robots were actually the Badniks, because Badniks are like little ladybug dudes in the original song.
I don't know what to call them then. They're just robots, I
They're
guess.
egg robots.
I'm
They're egg sacks.
No, great. Here we
They're
go
egg sack
again.
robots.
Yeah, I'd give this like a 7 out of 10. It was 7.5 out of 10.
He was just like,
good.
he was just like, now you'll see what's in my egg sack. And I
give it 7.5
I looked
honestly.
over to you, and I was just like, did he just say that? Like, what?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no.
It was fantastic. And then Sonic's like, those your eggs, Eggman, or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god.
It was
really
all
set
a
up for
call.
it the
Like,
entire
I mean,
movie.
yeah. I mean, I guess.
I like how Sonic called him Egg. Like, I liked how Sonic did call him Eggman, despite
it felt
him, like,
less.
it's
It
Robotnik or
felt
whatever.
less forced than it could have.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they could have just forced it, like, he's Eggman. But, like, no, they made it, they
that joke like an egg.
they put it in a way where
Like
it flowed
literally
with the
every
story.
normal human being ever.
I'm an Eggman. You're an Eggman.
I'm an Eggman.
We're all Eggmen. We're the Eggmen.
Secret new plot.
And Egg women. So. I'd say I'd give it a 7.5, honestly, out of 10.
I guess for
Not
me,
nearly as bad as I expected.
like a flat 5 is appropriate for me because a lot of the a lot of the movie I just like didn't really care about. Which normally if I just like don't care about something and like I'd rather be watching something else, that would get like a lower than a 5 score. But there were like some of those laugh out loud. Okay, so like
the Sphinx.
yeah, so like I give it like a 5, maybe a 5.5, like barely. Like I'd say for me this movie is like barely worth watching. Just I guess mostly because like it just doesn't really hit me emotionally. It has a few funny jokes, but then also a few like really stupid things that frustrated me and like that I thought were just not funny at all. I mean, I've been saying this entire time that like this movie rides on its jokes. Like that's the most important part. So if you're somebody who finds who laughs a lot, who finds the moment by moment snarky comments, this movie is going to be great for you. I personally I don't laugh as often, but I tend to find like when my expectations are subverted on a level of like on a meta level, like when I like the funniest moments for me are when the show writers obviously knew what I would be thinking when watching the scene, and then they subvert that instead, because I don't think like I'm pretty sure the Sphinx example was a very specific thing that most people like. I don't even think that the creators were thinking about that either. They were just like
Unless they were playing some 4D chess. You know?
maybe.
And
Well,
then
I think that they were just
like,
like we need something to explode. We should like we're doing all these important locations and
Let's
Sonic
explode
needs
the
to.
Sphinx, but
Yeah,
then at the
just-
same time, let's tell the joke in which you can't run up that it's one of the 7 wonders of the world.
I feel like that was a completely disconnected joke. I mean, from the Sphinx. Like I really think that like the Sphinx
but
blowing
like,
up and
the
me
way
finding
that
that
it
hilarious.
happened and like the flow of it, like it almost seems like it was intentional.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't
on one
see
hand,
it.
It was
seems
like
like
within
it on
2
the-
seconds of each other.
Like on one hand, it seemed intentional. On the other hand, it was like, wow, what a coincidence.
Maybe.
If this was
If Sonic had turned to Eggman and been like, "You just blew up the Sphinx. You're a hypocrite," then like obviously, but that would have been not funny at all.
like. I don't know about like this. This is a movie I would see again.
Yeah, I would too.
I don't think
There are probably
it's.
a lot of references we actually
I don't think
missed.
it's really worth a rewatch
With,
for
like, the
me
fast-
because
Like I would
none
want
of-
to watch it in like not maybe in like the theater we watched in. I'd probably
we got
want
the
to watch it at
reclining
like
chairs. That was nice.
yeah, that was
Yeah, that was
nice.
good.
But like if we watched in like 3D or something,
Oh,
I cannot stand 3D
I don't like
movies.
3D.
I don't know.
They
I
give
probably
me
would
giant
have like if
headaches.
I would probably watch it at home
Yeah.
because like
Oh,
I'd
sure.
see things better instead of like
This is a movie that I would not turn off if I walked into a room and it was playing and somebody else was
Fair.
watching it. But I definitely would not like turn it on and be like, I want to watch the Sonic movie. Or,
Sure.
like from,
As the difference
just
between
because-
you and I would turn it on willingly.
I guess just
not
like
because it's
for
a
me.
Sonic movie, but like if if the movie sucked, I would just probably never touch it again and never acknowledge it again. Like
I-
Sonic 06.
I was
Sonic
half
Forces.
because like I don't think any of us were going into this expecting it to be because like Rotten Tomatoes gives it like a 90 right now. It's got like a 95 out of
It doesn't
100 or
exactly
whatever.
have the best
Like
reliability, but-
I don't think that any of us were expecting the movie to be as good as Rotten Tomatoes seems to be making it out to
And it's
be.
only been a couple days too.
Yeah,
so
that
it's
also.
like,
So
Yeah,
it's gonna kind of go. The
biased.
score is kind of is kind of gonna have to like even out.
I don't
but,
agree
like,
with 95,
Yeah, 95, I
but
don't know
like
about
a 7.5 out of 10 is
Yeah,
what I'd
not
give it.
accurate.
I said yeah. I
Especially
mean, yeah, I can,
'cause,
yeah,
like,
I can get why you,
especially
because
because of the target audience and what they were going for. I can really see that, and there were a lot of funny.
I
Jokes
think that
I did like.
the target audience for this, if you're like 13 years old, if you're like a young Zoomer, then I think you'd enjoy this movie. Cause like okay, if
At least they didn't
you
do the
find
renegade.
excuse me, if you find Sonic flossing funny, watch this movie.
Yeah.
That's the
You'll
gist.
find
of it.
everything else in the movie funny as well.
Like
Probably.
they had to get like all the cringy stuff. Like I'm glad they did all the cringy stuff at the beginning
Yeah,
of
they
the
got
movie.
that
Except
out
for the one flossing at the end. That
Yeah, you
was-
flossed at
yeah.
the end.
Yeah, but like majority of the cringy that was at the beginning. Everything,
sure.
but like everything, like at the, but like basically in the middle and at the end, minus that one flossing scene. That was, it was like
Quality.
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah, there
all, like,
wasn't
good
that much.
stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that there would be more cringe or like more. Or, I mean, not cringe, but like more bad stuff. Because like I was saying,
Yeah,
like I don't think any of us were expecting this movie to be like great, like
My-
amazing.
Like I was hoping for it to be at least a 5 out of 10 in my opinion.
Honestly,
And
like
it exceeded my expectations.
like yeah, like although I would like a 5 out of 10 is like for me that's not a negative rating. That's an average like middle of the road rating, you know, and like. In a weird way, that's kind of like the worst that this movie could have been for me because now I can't feel good about having extreme opinions about this movie because like it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't do anything like super extreme, you know,
Yeah.
like
It doesn't
early
really
in the
try
pot.
much, but it also doesn't go for any risks. At least not.
Yeah, and like I kind of and like I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if it were like more shitty. Because then because I get a lot of enjoyment out of like laughing at and making fun of really terrible things, especially in environments like this where I can rant about it to you guys, to my friends, and like make content out of it. Because then I feel like watching the movie or like TV show or whatever it was is like validated because like I got something out of it other than just like seeing this terrible thing. And then also because like but then obviously if it's like really good, then the reward is in just like watching it. But if it's like middle of the road, then it's hard to do either of those things.
Yeah. You can't rant about how bad it is, but you also can't rant about how good it is like that.
Like you just gotta have a middle ground.
Yeah.
What do you think, Forrest? What do you rate it?
I honestly do not know. I liked it and I didn't like it. I didn't like the flossing part. I thought the movie was pretty good. As somebody who does not watch or know a lot about Sonic, I thought it was easy enough to understand. I knew the basic concepts. I would give it a pretty good score, probably like a 6 or 7.
What would you give like a 5 out of 10 to? Like I want a frame of reference. Like what?
I don't know of any movies that Toy Story 4 might get close.
Toy Story 4 is
Toy
Story 4 for me is a 4 out of 10.
Okay, yeah.
It's
Just
bad.
for
I
like
hate
just
it.
for like frame of reference, like I would like a 1 out of 10 for me is like Sword Art Online.
Oh yeah, no,
Like-
definitely.
So
Like bad but not absolutely awful. So like 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. That area is like Steven Universe for me.
Yeah.
Flat 5 out of 10 is like this movie. And that or another example which is a show called Kisniver. And that show has like some like pretty bad elements, but also some really good elements that kind of balance out in the end. Whereas this show has like neutral elements, and it creates neutral. You know, with that show, it's just about a bunch of dumb teenagers, and I just didn't care about any of them, and they get crushed. It's one of those shows where it's an anime. It's one of those shows where it's like, well, this is a boy and this is a girl, so like they're both teenagers, so of course they're gonna fall in love. Yeah, you should care about these characters, and I just like absolutely did not, and I thought it was annoying. But the visuals of the show were fantastic, and I just loved looking at it. So like it like overall balanced out to a 5. So that's like it's like the overall enjoyment that I get out of it. So like the Sonic movie and this movie would both be like about a 5 to me. Like, and then like a 6 out of 10, so like slightly better than neutral would be like Friends sitcom. Like there's a lot of stuff about that show that like frustrates me, but it's also just like enjoyable on face value, and I can like turn it on, and I appreciate that about it. And then like moving forward, like 8 out of 10, I really like Soul Eater is a show that I really like, where it like has a lot of really strong moments and not that many flaws, but it could go a lot further kind of idea. And also the ending to that show kind of sucked ass. But then like when you get to like the 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 is when like it gets to the point where like the high elements of the show are like almost life changing to me.
Yeah.
So I think of like How I Met Your Mother, Avatar: The Last Airbender, that kind of stuff, where like those shows like those shows like inform parts of my personality and like a lot of the big decisions that I've made in life. That's when I get to like a 10 out of 10 show. So that basically all of that was just as like a big explanation of like, this is what I think is the lowest, this is what I think is like not very good, average, pretty good, amazing, so you can get an idea of like where I would place the Sonic movie on that scale. Like
my scale's kind of different. Like I'm using Sonic as a reference. The worst of the worst would be The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. That was a terrible show. That was absolutely
I think I
garbage.
watched that.
Garbage. Like above terrible, like it's bad, but like it's below average would be Sonic 06. Even though the game was broken, at least some people were able to play it.
Yeah.
Like
Is it broken?
There was probably like a dozen people who were able to play it.
So much to
like
about
at least some parts of it were bearable.
Is it
Like some of the cuts, like the beginning
I've
cutscene was good. That's why it gets rated higher.
The beginning cutscene is like that.
Three things piles,
Average would be
Sonic Underground.
Sonic Underground, because it had a lot of potential, and like I liked that, but like.
But also the production value fucking sucked.
Yeah, like it'll still be one of my favorite Sonic cartoons because of nostalgia. But, like it's just like looking back on
Is that
it,
the one?
average.
Is that the one where Sonic goes, "Ooh, I'd love to stay and hang, but I got a juice." That's like one of my favorite lines in Sonic history.
I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Ooh, I'd love to stay and hang.
Above average would be Sonic Unleashed, depending on the console, it's good or it's bad. But like it was a very good concept. They could have done more with it, but like it didn't suck. Very good was Sonic Mania and Sonic SatAM.
Yeah.
Those were fantastic. Like those were fantastic games. Like Sonic Mania rebranded Retro Sonic, and that's fantastic.
It kind of revived the series in that way.
Yeah, and then Sonic SatAM, basically it's a cartoon that like that it taught a lesson on climate change in the 90s.
Really?
In taking care of the environment.
Wait, what are you talking? What?
Sonic SatAM basically took like its overall message
Okay.
was save the environment.
Like this was this. How long was this show?
1 or 2 seasons.
And like that was the overarching message.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
It effectively taught
my new
to
favorite
save
movie.
the environment.
That's what
it worked.
That's what I love is when shows when shows teach you like a clearly applicable message to the audience.
You should watch Nostalgia
That's why
Critic
that's why I love How I Met Your Mother
Adventures of
so
Sonic
much.
the Hedgehog and Sonic SatAM to really to understand like
To appreciate the full value of what it has to offer, man.
Exactly. It's a very good review though. And so definitely the Sonic movie it deserves, I feel like it's a good 7.5 out of 10.
So what's your 10 out of 10?
I already said Sonic SatAM and Sonic Mania.
Wait, I thought you said that was your 7 out of 10.
No.
What is your 7 out of 10 then?
My average is Sonic Unleashed.
Okay.
Because it did good, but then like
so that's 5 out of 10.
No.
Oh,
that's
so
Sonic
average.
Underground.
So
it's average. Like it had so much potential.
So for you, like average is like a 7 out of 10.
Average is 5 out of 10. That's Sonic Underground.
So
but
then-
like it's above 7
okay.
is above average
Okay.
for me. And then 8 to 9,
I
8,
kind
9,
of
10
flip.
is
I
like,
kind of flip flop on this in terms of like scoring stuff. Because on the one hand, I
because some
think
people
like
are different. And
'cause
my
on the one
scoring
hand,
is
I
like
think of-
7 is like 6 to 7 is above average. 8 to
Yeah.
9 is like almost good, and 10 out of 10 is very
yeah.
very,
Like when
very
I think
good.
about when I think about like scoring a show, I kind of flip flop on this because like. On the one hand, I think of it as like a comparison between. I think of it as like a comparison between shows, like a tier list or whatever.
Yeah.
So if one show is bad, I'll like move it down. And if I have enough shows that are like if I have a ton of like for example, I can probably think of a lot of shows that I would give like an 8 out of 10 or like a 7 out of 10 to, that kind of thing. And because like there's a lot of those shows, I think like, well, I should probably like I should probably sift through these and think like, which of these do I like more than the others, and like kind of sort them and be like, okay, well, I like this show more than this one, so I should move this one up a tier, or like maybe I should move this one down a tier, that kind of thing, or like a number, an out of 10, that kind of thing.
we should stop doing out of 10s. We should just do a regular tier list.
Yeah, we should.
F tier to S
S
tier.
tier.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like, but the thing is that like that's all the comparison. But then at the same time, I also like there to be like a sort of like general understanding of the quality of each tier, because like if it's all a comparison, then like this is all about like how can I efficiently tell people how much I enjoyed a show or a piece of media of any kind, right? And so like for me, the way that I have ended up constructing my like what I give shows in terms of like out of 10 is that because like I tend to give shows a more negative score than most of the people around me, as this podcast has demonstrated. But I think that that's because I explore a lot more media than most people, because like my YouTube channel is about me like talking about shows that I like and dislike and giving my opinions on them. So I basically think about shows that I consume way more than most people, and as a result, like I feel like I have a much better understanding of why I like certain shows and where I'd place them on a list. And so when people like talk, because like a lot of people, what I've noticed is that a lot of people will just say like, and not that I'm saying this is why you guys are saying, because you've explained why you'd give the movie an out of 7, so this is not directed to you guys, but a lot of people will say like, yeah, I'd give the show like a 7 out of 10. It was pretty good. And I think that a lot of people give that score because they haven't put a lot of thought into it, and they don't want to offend anybody. They want to be like, yeah, it had some good elements. I would say it was a little better than average. It entertained me, and I value that kind of thing. And like that's perfectly like reasonable. But I think that if most people like thought about the shows and stuff that they consumed a little more, then they would then they could start to realize like what I do all the time, which is just like, do I enjoy this as much as this? No. Move it down, you know?
That was kind of the Voltron problem.
Yeah, it kind of was. Like when I tell a lot of people that I'd give like I remember when Steven Universe season 5 was Diamond Days was just coming out, which I think is like the lowest point in the entire series. I would tell people like that I, like right now, based on Steven Universe's future, it's not as bad. I'd still say it's not like positive. So like right now, Steven, as the entirety of Steven Universe as a whole, I'd give it probably like a 4 out of 10. But at that point in the show, it got down to I like overall would have given it like a 3 out of 10. And I would tell people that, and they'd be like, "What are you talking about? How can you possibly think that?" You know, and I never wanted to like fully explain it because we had like a 3-hour podcast about it. But like literally, I wish that I had told those several people that it was literally just because I thought about the show probably a lot more than they were, and compared it to stuff that I like and decided I like other stuff better.
Like I give Voltron as a whole a 6 out of 10 at most. At most.
Yeah, like,
and then like people are like, how dare you? It's so good. It's like
maybe the best parts about it are really good, but as a whole,
like it's like the first like 3 seasons were great, and then like it really went downhill because they really tried to milk it, and it's like they tried to do Avatar, and it failed.
Yeah, for the longest
people...
time, I've said that like a bad ending doesn't ruin the show, but I kind of have to go back on that like I kind of because like I think that Voltron's ending. This is very off topic, but I think that Voltron's ending really and this is all said in the Voltron.
I got so
analysis.
angry at
If
it.
if anybody has seen my Voltron analysis, literally the best video I've ever made. But like basically the ending, season 8, kind of just undercuts like literally every important element about the show up until that point, and like rewatching it makes it less fun to watch. And so like overall, I'd probably at the moment give Voltron like a 4, like a kind of the same range as Steven. Maybe like a little bit better, like a 4 out of 10. I'd put it like a 4 out of 10.
Voltron at its lowest, it's like a 3-4 out of 10. At Voltron's
at its
best.
okay, like as a whole, yeah. Like I could definitely see. The thing is that I could see a lot of people thinking of Voltron as like a terrible show now because the ending does really undercut everything, and like the last season I'd give a 1 out of 10 to, and that's like a very sour note to leave off on. So I could definitely see it, even if I thought about it more, I could definitely see myself like putting it on a lower scale. But like there are several positive stuff that, and like endings and like full arcs that happen in the beginning of the show. So like that I place value on, and also similar to how I like Friends, it's just like, even if there's a lot of stuff that frustrates me, it is just like I am able to get like more than just like baseline like average like regular TV, like the news, you know? Like if I'm like, the news can entertain me, like just hearing like, oh, Trump said this is a current event that's happening, guys. Did you know that like volcanoes are erupting in Hawaii? Isn't that like
Hurricane Dorian is gonna hit Alabama?
Isn't that crazy, guys? Don't you really care about that? And I can just be like, oh, that sure is a thing that's happening. It's great, you know, and it's better than literally silence, you know.
Fair.
Yeah. But like, but just like based on the fact that like I can get any enjoyment out of like Friends or Voltron or this movie, in fact, means like puts it miles above just like TV, just like the news or whatever, which is why I would play. And I mean, if I had to give the news an out of 10 rating, I don't know, probably like a 2.
3 out of 10 rating. It's
I'd
got
give-
too much information.
I'd
Too much
give the
too much
Yeah,
explanation.
the news has too much exposition in it. There's too many exposition dumps in the news.
The only reason I watched
Not enough Sakuga in the news to keep me engaged.
Yeah,
The
gotta
only-
have more plot in there.
The character designs are really
The characters
underwhelming.
are so inconsistent.
Yeah,
There's so
yeah,
many
exactly.
of them. I can't remember the
The only
series.
reason I watched
that
the news
weatherman.
for
Why is he like? They feel like they change his entire design every
There's
like.
no romance at all.
Yeah, exactly.
tornadoes over here. That's
No,
the only
it-
reason I watched
The
it.
plot
news,
isn't
2
consistent.
out of
It's
10.
changing every single episode.
Yeah, you're right. There's no semblance of a coherent narrative through line.
0 out of 10.
1 out of 10.
Zero out of
Negative 1 out of 10.
0 out of 10. No JoJo references.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe you could talk about the world.
Literally imagine if they made a news channel, except they just made anime references and like
That'd be
cartoon
great.
references all the time.
That'd be great.
You know,
I'd watch that.
like if Hurricane Dorian or whatever, like if that was like landing down, and they'd be like, "Damn, this is gonna hit harder than I don't know." What's something that I don't know, guys? Give me something to work with.
This is gonna hit harder than when Dio.
This is gonna get hot. This is
when
gonna
Dio donated Kakyoin.
yeah. This is gonna hurt more than
really
Donkey Kong with his
Yeah.
coconut gun.
Yeah.
DK.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey.
He's the leader of the bunch.
You know him well.
He's finally back to kick some tail. His coconut gun can fire in spurts. If it hits, it's gonna hurt. Donkey Kong.
I saw a version.
Donkey
I saw a
Kong.
version of that song where every single noun was replaced with coconut gun.
CG. Coconut gun.
Coconut
CG.
Calm.
Coconut gun can
that-
fire in spurts.
Can fire
If
in
it hits, it's gonna hurt. CG. Coconut gun. Guns got style. So listen up, dudes. Coconut gun can shrink in size. That's the full lyrics.
Yeah, it was really hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, calm down, Liam.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going back into hibernation.
Going.
He's ascended.
I'm Wario. Give me money. I'm Wario.
Say support me on Patreon.
Support me on Patreon to continue Wario.
Subscribe to my PayPal.
Give me money.
My subscribes. Can you do Rick's voice from Rick and Morty?
Pickle Rick.
Excuse. What was that?
I'm trying to work it out. I can do a good Yoda impression.
Okay, let's hear it.
Subscribe to my PayPal, you will.
Wait, do it in a Russian accent.
Karen took the kids she must.
Subscribe to my PayPal, you will.
Did you just tell him to do Yoda voice in a Russian accent?
I want him to do like the UC Ivan memes that you do.
You see, Ivan, you must subscribe to my friend Chris's PayPal account.
I don't have a Patreon or a PayPal.
Oh, you must establish a Patreon account, my friend.
My channel's about to become monetizable.
Well, you must subscribe to my
literally
friend Chris's
literally
channel.
the
We can
Steven
sell Zoomercast merch.
We
Okay,
totally
yes.
should. Literally, the Steven Universe Futures Writing is a Problem video has entirely like that's now that video is now like 80% of
You
what
should
my
market
channel
that.
of what my channel
You
is.
should market that.
What do you, I mean? It markets
shirt on
it.
that.
Markets it. Oh, you mean like make
Yeah,
merch?
yeah. Make merch for people who are...
just a shirt that has the thumbnail on it that has Steven and it just says bad writing. Oh, that would piss off so many people.
Man,
I should totally
it
do
gets
that.
shock factor, yeah.
But like that video has like 42K views now, and I have like
It's
850
probably at its
subscribers
peak.
now. Literally, well, it has not slowed down.
Really?
Like literally, in fact, I think it's sped up. Like it was
Oh, you
originally
gotta change that.
It
You
was
gotta edit
originally getting like 1,000 views a day or whatever for like the first week and a half or so. But like it's been out for almost 2 weeks now, and now it has like over 40,000 views.
Yeah, you gotta cash in on that. Go full Wario up in here.
It's already
I must make some shirts in order to sell to my subscribers.
But my point is like you need to have 4,000 watch hours in the past year and 1,000 subscribers, and I got the 4,000 watch hours from that one video.
Really?
Yeah, it has 40. Yeah,
That's good.
it's like a 16 minutes? I think it's like a 16-minute long video, and it has like 42,000 views. So that's almost there already, and I already had plenty. I already had like 2,000 watch hours before, but and then in the past since I uploaded that video, my channel has gone from like 210 subscribers to like 800.
Wow.
So it's
You're gonna get monetized
very
soon.
very quick. Yeah, so it's going to be
People
monetized
are very
soon.
passionate about Steven Universe.
You know what we
I
need?
get so many fucking comments that say the exact same damn thing of and what's so
You gotta shorten up your videos. Make
and
them
what's
more
so
digestible.
terrible about that comment section is that like in the video I said I got a certain type of comment on my last Steven Universe video, which went something along the lines of, well, of course Steven can do this, it's because of this. Or just like people like explaining what happened in the show, because like a lot of my complaints is that like this part came out of nowhere and I didn't like it, and then people would say like, oh well, actually it's happening because of this, like it's happening because Steven is mad or because of this circumstance, and then my rebuttal is always like, well, that doesn't mean that it didn't come out of nowhere, which like tells me that the writers are like not thinking ahead very well, which is a bad idea, I think, and like that's like my main complaint, and I said that in the video, and then my pinned comment at the top of the comment section says, please like read the comment section to make sure that that you're not like parroting other people's comments, and then I put a timestamp there that says that says like a lot of people seem to have completely missed this section of the video where I said like, I get that like there was explanation for why the things in this show happen. My point is that it comes out of nowhere, and that's my problem. And still, like half
People
of the
don't
comments
listen.
that I get is people being like, oh, well, obviously you don't get it. Steven only like turns pink because he's mad. Steven only like There's like
It's
several.
because he got hit by Spinell's
There's-
freaking thing, and he's so
I
turned back.
did not get that at all. There's
I
like,
only found that out was people were talking about on Tumblr, like, wait, what if that was the reason? And that was
There's
only a
like-
what if.
and there's
but
like
we don't know.
and there's like people who, when I was talking about him flying, and there's people who are saying like, well, he's not flying, he's just like floating and then stopping his moment. And I'm
He's
just like,
falling with style.
Yeah, he's falling
he's just
down.
falling with style. And it's just like literally not literally every. There are a few like legitimate rebuttals to my stuff, and I like hearted those comments because like thank God some people are competent. But like the vast majority of it just comes off like it's people trying to think of like an explanation for like why
trying to
things.
challenge
That's why there's so many theories. It's because people are like, well, this has to have some sort of explanation that like this, like the writers most certainly would not just leave this unexplained, which means that there has to be something that's going to happen in the future. So I need to do these mental gymnastics that like justify
just
why
stupid.
this thing happened and why it's still great. And
That's just Voltron.
literally.
It's like, oh, of course Allura can do this because she has all taken magic that in alchemy stuff that she got from the White Lion. It's like, but why? Where's the limit?
God.
And it's like, that's it. That's the argument. It's just
Like you can speculate and theorize about anything like to make the show better for you, but it is still just speculating and theorizing. Like
And
it's not like that's not.
it doesn't make the
part of
show
the act-
anybody.
That doesn't
it make
change the
show
canon
any less
of the
garbage.
show. Like that, yeah. Like that doesn't change the canon of the show. We've gotten way off. We've been off topic of the Sonic movie for like a solid 20 minutes now. Do you guys have any like final thoughts? Because I think
Liam should sell out in a new language.
This is Wario speaking here. You must buy the shirts that he might make in the future.
It doesn't. It's funny
You can
because
subscribe
you
to
don't
this channel, please.
It's funny because you literally don't even sound like Wario.
That's the joke. Wario. Wow.
Next will be Waluigi.
Waluigi
My
sounds like
brother said. My
Waluigi-
brother makes your hair.
I mean, yeah, I think I've pretty much wrung dry all of everything that I had to say about this movie.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
It was.
Not
bad,
not
great.
Sonic
Kinda
running.
basic.
Sonic running was weird. Whenever he was like running really fast and they had the camera like zoomed in on him, it felt like it was weird because like he'd turn and stuff and it felt like he was doing these like weird like long sweeping like
He does that in the
snaking
games.
turns. Yeah, he does. But the camera work and action of the show reads it as though it's like this fast paced, like he's darting all around and stuff, or like he's taking these sharp turns. But like if you look at like the way that he's like moving and stuff, like Sonic, like a huge like it was a lot of the like action scenes in the movie felt like kind of weirdly visually like dissatisfying because like part of what I like when in the final battle when Sonic was jumping was like bouncing off of building to building and hitting Eggman's or Dr. Robotnik's like
Robot
drone thingy that he was on, he was like bouncing off and like taking like straight lines, like the blue that follows him is like always a straight line. That's what I really like it because it feels like he can change momentum at the drop of a hat,
Like in the
that kind of thing. But like in the city and when he's like running away from Eggman in the city or whatever, he's taking these like weird long sweeping
He
snaking
can't just,
like
jump
turns
in the air
or whatever.
Instead.
He's also
stuff.
getting shot at, so he has to like.
Well, I mean, I would think that would necessitate like a faster change in momentum, like take sharper turns so that it's harder to predict movement, that kind of thing. And like,
I mean,
it just felt like, and I mean, I think also part of it is that like it was in the middle of a city, so like everything is very like very blocky and stuff. So I think it would have been like really cool to see him like running like
like Tron style.
like sweep. Yeah, like
I should have done that.
But like that's like a kind of minor complaint, which it was just like a weird thing with the visuals that I felt like.
I guess because they did reanimate Sonic.
Yeah.
So
that
it's like,
could be part of it. I don't know. I just like when Sonic's all zigzaggy, or or like in like Green Hill Zone in the games or whatever. Like the terrain is also snaky, so it makes sense for Sonic to be running along these like loop-de-loops and snaking paths and stuff like that. But when you're like in the city and running away, it would. I feel like it would be more appropriate to be like taking sharper
it's
turns
like
and
Sonic
stuff.
Adventure 2,
Yeah.
like with him on the board.
Yeah. But again, that's like a very like weird nitpick that I just thought was a kind of strange thing to point out. But yeah, overall, I guess I would recommend it for like a one-time viewing. Like I said, I wouldn't rewatch it, but like I guess the experience of watching it with you guys was awesome.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I loved,
Yeah, it was.
like I loved leaning over to you guys like every few minutes
I
and
was
just like
always, like,
saying like,
leaning-
just like
Is
making
he
a joke.
flossing?
Yeah.
Is that another Olive Garden reference?
What was it? Yeah, what was with the Olive Garden?
A
Or
sponsor, I
Zello
guess.
or whatever.
There were like
that-
multiple like
Sponsorships
there were
and
multiple like
Sell out!
there were like multiple shameless sponsorships.
Like
Olive
I was looking at an
Garden.
apartment on Zillow.
Hey,
Like
check
she
this out,
emphasized
Zillow.
Zillow.
yeah,
If
exactly.
she-
That was
if-
so weird.
If she didn't emphasize Zillow, I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. But no, she emphasized it. And she's like,
Zillow.
oh, yeah.
And
I'm
like
look-
yeah, and they did the thing where like they showed like a clear shot of like the website with like the logo of it like super
like,
clear in the top left corner. It was that was so weird.
The first Olive Garden reference is what they should have done with Zillow. Like they don't show it, but they say it, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like what
And
they
then the
should have
next
been.
Olive Garden reference is like,
Well, that was too much.
was
Like
so-
like that's what they
Like,
should have done with the
really?
Zillow.
It was
re-
like bizarre on because
is there like a conspiracy going on here with Olive
'Cause,
Garden
like,
and Sonic?
Okay,
like,
so
I-
before they changed Sonic's design, he had Nike shoes. So like when the
Oh,
girl was
yeah.
like, "Here are some shoes," that was supposed to be product placement,
Hmm.
but they got rid of it because people complained.
Huh, that's weird.
And then they replace it with more product placement.
Yeah. yeah.
I don't lose any money.
Full
If not, they probably
sellout.
made more.
Instead of saying,
But
"I'm
it-
looking at an apartment in Zillow," she just be like, "I'm just looking at apartments."
Yeah.
Like
Zillow.
yeah, but like it's so like bizarre to me because I'm so used to movies like trying to be nonchalant about it or like trying to be like, yeah, I'm looking for an apartment on Zillow. That
It's
kind
just
of
kinda jarring to
like
have,
the,
like, the
that kind of thing.
giants.
But like the way literally just like the way that they talk about the product like the like this government official guy
Giving Olive
knocks it
Garden.
looks like it reads like it's an advertisement. Like this
Yeah.
government official guy
You can
knocks
just cut
on
that
this
out.
knocks on this
And then,
couple's
yeah.
door and he's like, "Hey, we're here to reward you.
Wasn't it,
This
like,
is
only-
such an important thing. You
How
guys
much-
have like
I
saved
forget
the
how much-
world. You know, we're gonna thank you with an Olive Garden gift
Was
card
it
or
only-
whatever."
was like a-
Was
or whatever.
it only like
And
$50?
it was only
too?
$50. Yeah, that also. But and then he's like, "Have you tried the never
The
never ending
Pasta
pasta bowl
Bowls.
or whatever?" And he's
You
like,
could cut
"It's."
that out of the movie and then
it's
frame that as
never
commercial.
end-
I could.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Have you tried the never-ending pasta bowl? It's never-ending.
sellout.
It's literally an
And then as he
advertisement."
left-
It's like it's so.
I gotta
Yeah,
try
and then,
these-
and then as
I
he
gotta
leaves, he's
try
like, "I'm
these-
really excited to go to Olive Garden and
these
try out that
never-
pasta bowl."
Never-ending pasta bowls.
He's like the
Full sellout.
the character. It's so weird because like the movie is like not trying to be like nonchalant about it.
yeah.
It's like there's no way that they
bit
they were like
shameless like
thinking
that.
that they were being like sly about this, that they were like sneaking it in or something like that.
You know, they were just
Like,
throwing in your
but
face.
they were just. It was just like the characters. It's like. It felt like the characters were like legitimately psyched
Yeah.
to go to Olive Garden the way that like characters would in an advertisement, and it was bizarre and kind of funny in its
They
own
had
way.
to, I think maybe the product placements were last minute when they had to change Sonic's design.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because
got the
like that
opportunity
cost
to
them
do it.
like an extra $5
Why
million
did
dollars.
Why did Tom is Tom not still considered like a national criminal?
Yeah.
Also, why did
They
they
just-
like why
There.
was
Not
and
as a
this
national criminal,
okay
not
so
the
like
entire nation.
okay so Robotnik was this guy like I can't believe you're trusting
Robotnik
this
is
guy.
like working with the government.
And the
also,
government, but the
like
government
he's a
does,
fucking
the
nut
government
job. But he's-
doesn't trust him. So why would they trust him when they're like, this guy's a terrorist?
Yeah, like nobody except like this, except like the president or whoever it was. He's like, we gotta bring in Eggman. Like literally, all of this starts because like there's a power outage. Like there's a
Yeah.
big power outage, and like the like UN or like the like national like society
president's
of
cabinet.
people who are important like just get together and they have a meeting. They're like, how do we solve this? This is really. It's like
And it's
like
like, it
like
could've
I
been a
like,
plausible.
I get that if it's like literally the entire like West Coast like going out or whatever, like people would be looking into it, but like it's not that big a deal. Like let's be
it wasn't
honest.
actually
Montana.
that. Wasn't it like not that big?
I think
Well,
he
it's
said
just
it was the
West
entire Pacific coast or something
It's just
along.
like half America.
Like
It wasn't
like
like,
the movie
half
made a
of
big
America.
deal about it, but like a lot of power companies are connected. So if one,
Yeah.
so if like.
Yeah.
If,
but I mean,
if
like,
one
but I mean,
power
yeah.
thing goes out, then like half the country's gone.
That's
so
kind
it's
of
like
what happened this summer, or maybe it was early school year.
That was just
But-
because there's like construction going
Well,
on.
yeah, but I mean, like that, like it happened, like, and it was just everyone's power was out. I remember trying to stand up at the top of a circle, trying to get cell service to text somebody, but like it was like you know, like I was expecting it just to be our neighborhood, but it was like the entire Oregon and Brooklyn area.
Yeah, so like it could have actually just been a plausible reason, and they're like, we gotta call in this guy to do
I mean,
it.
yeah, I guess it's just like it's just that like it's just like
where like it was a rat. And that rat had chewed through
oh
some
yeah.
of the, yeah. If imagine like
that.
the same situation where they call in like Ivo Robotnik over here to exterminate this rat.
One rat just to exterminate
That's the movie.
One rat.
That's the movie. When
yeah, like
rat.
but like it's just a power outage. Yeah. Like it's like most people would expect that it would come back on in like a few hours.
I guess Robotnik's goal is like at first it was the power outage to be like, what could have caused this?
Like
I want to capitalize on it, and then he found out it was this creature, and he goes, I want to capitalize on this creature to make me powerful because I'm crazy.
Yeah, I actually like there were several scenes that like where Robotnik was. I can only think of him as Jim Carrey. I'll just call it where Jim Carrey is like where he's like talking in like such a ridiculous manner that's like obviously like not even a real person, and it simultaneously took me out of the experience of watching the movie but also pulled me further in because it like reinforced that he's a crazy person, he's a nut job, and like I got used to that and I ended up really liking it.
He played the role very, very
well.
I
mean, like I said, Jim Carrey was always going to be the best part of this movie. That was like Jim Carrey was the one part of this movie that everybody going into it was like, yeah, it's going to be great. Like he's always like he's a great actor. And he totally delivers. Why do they just let him off the hook? Like
I guess the government would have been like false alarm.
Yeah.
False. Like it was so weird. Like it was so weird. Like you'd at least think that like his reputation would just be like destroyed because like he was on national television. Yeah. People being like, this guy is like armed. They said like this
armed
is a
and dangerous.
They said like this is a national. Like, this is a national criminal. He is armed and dangerous. If you know the whereabouts, call the police. Or, like, this is serious shit. And, like, at the end of the movie, they bring, like, a government, like, a professional governmental guy to be like, thank you so much for everything you've done for the plot to this movie.
He also knew that, like, Robotnik was crazy, though. So it could have just been a ploy.
Was it the same guy that it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes a little more
and it's
sense.
like, okay, why not just be like, I guess like the cover is like Robotnik's crazy guys, and they're like, he's not real, and they could have just pulled it off as a hoax.
It's just that like I guess only after he disappeared that everybody was just really scared of him and they didn't want to like oppose him for fear that he would literally obliterate them.
Oh yeah, because look at
he
his
probably
robot
could.
army.
Yeah.
Do you think like if there's
Do you think when he comes
do you think
back?
Stone like his partner in crime, do you think he's gonna take over, or is he just too dumb?
Stone seems kind of nice, honestly.
He makes
Stone
wasn't evil at all.
Stone seems like somebody who was like trained from birth to be a sidekick or like to be
specifically his sidekick.
He was born and raised to hold himself up against the wall.
He knows how he knows how to make lattes.
Yeah, he knows this guy has been trained to be Eggman. I bet in the second movie there's gonna be like a mini plot of him just like having a mental breakdown. Yeah. He's gonna turn into the minion. He's gonna turn into the minions from the Despicable Me series of like, I have no one to serve. What do I do? My life is meaningless if I can't make coffees for anybody.
I'm the worst person in the world in order to serve him.
Yep.
Like that. I think there won't actually be a second movie. Yeah.
I think there will be.
Nah, the studio got disbanded after they lost too much.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Paramount disbanded the studio after they...
if there is a second movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally possible.
If the Sonic movie makes enough money, they could...
The rights to this movie belong to the Sega company, right? Because it's their intellectual property, right?
Yeah.
So then, like...
They could just give it to somebody else and make it...
I mean, yeah, they could. But, like that's ever gonna happen. Yeah. Like, they're ever gonna give up Sonic.
Not Sonic, like the rights to the movie to somebody else to make the sequel. And like if this movie makes enough money, then
how much? Somebody search up how it's doing.
I can look.
It's been out at the time of I have that same phone background. At the time of this recording, it's been out for 2 days.
Yes.
So
how's it doing?
Yeah. Let's see what the weekend results are. Yeah. Came out on Friday. It's currently Sunday.
Maybe they'll reboot the studio. See if
If it does well
I mean,
enough, they could.
this definitely seems like the kind of movie that could like explode. You know, because it is.
It's
Cause
probably-
it's
it's
Like
probably
the
the
people
best
at the
video
theater
game movie
were
thus
were
far.
telling us like
Apart from
I've heard
maybe
this was a
Detective
very
Pikachu.
good movie.
I think I haven't seen Detective
That's not the
Pikachu.
same one.
I
I
haven't
have,
seen
it's very
Detective
good.
It's very
Pikachu,
good.
but I've heard that Detective Pikachu is like, and I definitely, and just on face value, I haven't seen it again.
Do you have
but, like,
Hulu?
Yes.
It's on Hulu.
Oh, sick. Okay, I'll watch it.
So,
but like, yeah, just based on like the plot or whatever, it just seems to have more heart and soul than this movie does. So I expect to enjoy it more than I did this movie. Like, I expect that movie to end up being like a 6 out of 10, whereas this movie is a 5. Like,
I will say
I give this
I
movie
think-
like a. I'd give this movie like a 5.5, like barely above like absolute
Like
average.
I will say that Detective
Nah,
Pikachu.
actually, no, it's absolute average.
I
I'd give it
will
a
say
5
that
out of
Detective
10.
Pikachu is better than the Sonic movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
But like I
This would
think,
probably be the second best video
but
game
I
movie.
think because the people making
say.
the Detective Pikachu movie was a different company that probably
yeah,
cared more.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So
You can always tell when they care more.
so this article.
That's not saying that the Sonic movie wasn't good.
Yeah.
So this article written 8 hours ago said that the weekend total, its global opening weekend total, is $100 million. And the movie's.
I guess
budget
I
was-
don't really know how much movies tend to make. I think that's
What
pretty
was
good.
The budget was $85 million.
Ooh.
Well, they're
so
making
it-
profit.
It's
they
already
made-
profiting.
they already
Obviously.
profited.
First
It opened
weekend.
strong at $57 million.
Nice.
And I'm assuming
That's yeah.
pretty
I mean that's good, but that's not like I think
That's not like
like
blockbuster
Finding
style.
Dory had like 200 to 300 million on its
Yeah.
opening weekend or something like that.
Yeah, but like I don't know. Finding Dory's okay.
Yeah, it was
Finding Dory was okay.
I think people went to see it because it was a sequel they
Well,
were waiting for,
yeah,
but then
duh.
they then they got disappointed.
Let's see.
So like you can't sometimes you can't really
But you can't
really
no
count on
refunds.
you can't really count on box office stuff
In
all
total,
the times.
a worldwide total.
Well, I mean, we're talking about like whether or not it's likely that they might like reboot the
Yeah.
company to get a sequel, and that's largely based on how successful the movie is. So
so
100 million on the opening weekend. I don't know exactly how like successful that is in terms of movies, but that
Finding
seems.
Dory had a worldwide total of 1 billion.
Whoa, okay, I was
that's
way
29
off.
I think because it's a Disney
29
movie.
million.
Is
That's
that in the
like,
first weekend?
That's
Oh, okay.
Total, but
In
that's
to- okay, what about
worldwide
does it say the first weekend?
total. I'll have to go reading.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But anyway, yeah, if the Sonic movie
yeah.
makes money, like a lot of money off of this movie, they
might consider
could
rebooting, so,
Yeah.
continue it because they
I
did
think
leave it off at some.
Yeah, I think what I'm expecting is I think it's still kind of unclear because like 100 because like this seems to be like a success, but not like a rousing success that everybody that like would be like obviously they're gonna do a sequel.
Like
I could
showing
see
that
it
it's a
mostly
success,
mostly
they
because
could
they're
make it the sequel.
Yeah.
Because
Mostly
and then they could
because-
use that to learn to make it better. Because clearly they already did
though
that.
I do think that a sequel would not be as successful as the original because like this movie is like has there ever been a Sonic movie before?
I think
God, yes,
Not
and no.
one that like everybody was paying attention to. That's the point.
I
Is
think
that like this is the
It was a
first
Sonic CD movie. And
Okay.
well,
the point
it
is,
was
like, this is
technically
the first-
an anime. Like it was a
I don't
TV
know.
release. I think.
Okay, so basically no, it wasn't on like the big screen.
It was
So,
it was an hour, but
like
it
my
wasn't
okay,
a big
my
screen.
point here is that like this is the first movie. This is like the first Sonic movie that like everybody was at least aware of. You know.
Yeah.
So if there's like we're doing it again, and a lot of like most people are not going to watch the second one unless they've also seen the first one. So right away, your target audience is kind of less.
Yeah.
You know. So and then furthermore, based on the fact that like this movie. It doesn't. I mean, I guess the people on Rotten Tomatoes feel differently, but like from just like I avoided spoilers, but I did see some like YouTube thumbnails, and a lot of them said like Sonic the Hedgehog movie is okay, or like Sonic the Hedgehog movie I was indifferent, you know, stuff like people just being like very lukewarm. That's my impression. I might do more research after this now that I'm not avoiding spoilers, but like my general understanding of how people are reacting to it is that like it's okay, like people like people are not like getting up in arms and like throwing parties over this movie, you know. So like I doubt that basically this is all to say that like there's almost no, and also considering that they had the redesign thing happen,
Yeah.
where you know there was
gained
this
a whole bunch of
absolutely
publicity.
abhorrent first trailer, and then they fixed it. Like whether or not that was intentional and that was their plan, it did like bring more eyes to the movie. So that definitely increased how many people saw the movie. All this is just to say that like a sequel will almost certainly be not nearly as successful as this first one. So I think that could play a role into how likely a sequel is. But they did have the after credits sequence that was very suggestive.
It hinted at a sequel.
It's so weird that the trailer included the after credits sequence.
Yeah, because I thought that whole
Like, I
mushroom
think-
planet
like, I-
thing was gonna happen in the
Like,
movie.
I think all of us-
It did, but like it wasn't a main part. It was like, this is the sequel.
It was
and
kind of
it's
sneaky. Like you'd think, like they made you think that it was going to be relatively important.
Like I don't know,
main
I don't know
movie.
why. I don't know why, but I was like very much like when I saw that scene in the trailer, I was like, that's got to be the after. Like for some reason, I just like knew that was like gonna be like after
Because he was
the
bald.
climax of the partly like after the climax of the movie, that kind of thing.
Do you think Jim Carrey
I don't-
actually shaved his head, or is he wearing a bald cap?
Yeah, no.
Bald
he's
cap,
wearing a
probably.
bald cap. But like, yeah, I don't know what tipped me off to that, but I just like definitely thought like that's after.
I
the
didn't. I
conclusion.
thought it was like gonna be like the end, like of course, but not like.
And I mean that is pretty much
But
what
like
it
not
is.
the
Not like
end.
absolute end.
I didn't know it was gonna be absolute end. I just thought it was kind of like like the end of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but not like sequel territory.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I've run out of stuff to talk about.
I like how 20 minutes ago I was like, well, I think we've all said everything we have to say about this, and then I just added like one thing, and we all just spiraled off into another tangent.
Downward
But I
spiral,
think
yeah.
now I really have said everything I have to say about this movie. So
Famous last words.
You were gonna say that, and then like we'll be at school on Tuesday, and you'll be.
we're all gonna be like,
we're
guys, I
gonna
have
be-
something else to say.
Oh great, here we go again.
Yeah.
Here comes the next train of thought.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody
I'm
else.
good.
Final score, 5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10. Yeah.
7.
All right, cool. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Zoomercast. Does anybody else want to like do an outro or something like that? Because I do them every single time.
Hey, it's
Wario
me.
voice.
It's me, Wario. You should subscribe to the channel, please.
Zoom. Say Zoom in Wario voice.
Zoom.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.